they dealt with on PACE.
Okay. I'm about to
Okay,
start
I got it.
watching. Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Now I'm going to share this live. I'm going to copy it. Okay. Okay. Well, it's 9 after 11. We are live streaming this to the Women Elevated page as well, our public page. And I'm going to give it one more minute for a couple more people to come in and then we'll start. But thank you so much, Ms. Teresa, for volunteering your time for this class and to teach us about mortgage, which is a hot topic this at this point, especially in the United States. And it's a way for veteran women or women, period, or to stay at home and to make a decent amount of money without leaving the
Absolutely.
house. Yeah, we have a lot of women who have children and they're uncertain about the children going to school because of COVID or because of other things. And it gives you an opportunity to stay at home and kind of watch your kids and take care home and still make money.
And the thing is, too, in today's world, what's going on, it's going to go on probably forever. Okay. Or at least in our lifetime, right? My husband's retired. Okay. And so it's just me and him right now, which is, you know, but, um, and I love going to work. I love going to the sites. But for me right now, I'm not spending money on gas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not spending money going out for lunch. Okay. Plus
Mm-hmm.
a certain position I have, I can work any hours, as long as I do my 8 hours, right? I'm, um, Also, too, they found studies, and you're going to know this, Tansy, yourself. They found remote workers are less likely to call in sick
Right. Right.
because they can take care of their sick children. They don't have to. You don't have to worry about car trouble,
Right.
right? And they found that to be true. Also, too, I find myself more and more becoming more attached to my office. It's under construction right now, is what I say, right? But I have my own TV in here, so I watch court TV religiously. Dr. Phil, 4 o'clock. But you know, and it's nice because I'm not rushing around. I'm not being a screaming maniac in the mornings.
Right.
Brush your teeth, pick up your clothes, make sure you got your PE clothes. Do you have your lunch? Right? Mom, I need lunch money. Oh, mom, I forgot my homework. Yeah, all that, right? We don't have to hurry, getting them to the school, but all this craziness. So working at home is such a blessing. Plus, you actually see more money if you
I
think
believe it.
about it in your
No
paycheck.
gas, no lunch. Not the spontaneous. Because if somebody invites me to a nice restaurant at lunch, I'm probably gonna go. So that's money. It's just you don't really have to buy a whole lot of work clothes. Women, makeup, hair, just to look presentable at work. You're not spending money on that. So I can definitely see how you can make more money staying at home. And then the mortgage industry is really good right now.
It's awesome. Just like the other day, as we're waiting, there's and I only did an Indeed search, okay? Indeed. I did national, remote. There was over 20,000 positions right now available. Not to say everybody's going to qualify for these positions, because they're not. But think, you got over 20,000 positions right now remote. What do you think the chances are? You know? So, and I love this business. I've had so much fun. Wait to hear some of my fun facts in my presentation today. You know what I've done, where it's gotten me. Um, so we see, is it Anshel?
And
Anshel?
so, mm-hmm.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
I'm Teresa. It's nice to meet you.
you too. Sorry, I was waiting. I couldn't.
That's okay.
So, Miss Teresa, I will hand it over to you. If you need me to share something for you, let me know and I'll share it. But I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm still listening. I'm still here. And again, I thank you for taking the time out and just volunteering your time to help us out and give us this
Well,
class.
my pleasure. You know that. Okay. Hi, ladies. My name is Teresa Melton. Just to let you know, I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I am a Navy veteran, but I also did some time in the Coast Guard too. I've met Tansy, this lovely lady, through Miss Veteran America finalist 2021. And I've been in several other groups here with the women veterans. And so before we go any further, I do want to give 2 disclaimers, okay? It's very important. The first one is, okay, regarding this workshop, all right? I've been in the industry probably close to 30 years, and I've worked in several states. I've held any and every role, and I've worked for any bank, big bank, mid bank, small bank, credit union. If I've missed one of those banks, well, they've missed me. Okay. Now, just my first disclaimer is on this workshop, I am not endorsed by my current employer, which is Celebrity Home Loans. I am not endorsed by any of the investors, which is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, FHA, and USDA. I am not being paid whatsoever, nor will I accept any funds. Also, too, I'm not endorsed by any profit or nonprofit organizations such as Final Salute, um, Tansi's Group, Women Elevated, Northeast Florida Women Veterans, TAPS. Also, too, I'm not endorsed by the MBA, which is Mortgage Bankers Association. This is only a mentorship, and it's not paid. Also, I'm sorry? Oh, and also too, one more thing. It's very important because and again, I do not promise or guarantee job placement or interviews. This is just me telling you what's out there, how I can guide you for a very fun career and with all the benefits that go with it, okay? So I just want to put that out there. I'm going to disclose one more thing, and Tansi's aware of it, and I have to do this. It's not that I want to, but due to me talking, I am in a medical crisis right now. I do have 2 brain tumors. So what's happening is I have about every symptom there is. A couple of them is my speech will be slurred at times, confusion, short-term memory loss, and at times I cannot pronounce my words, or I forgot, or if I repeat myself. So what my good friends do, bless them, they know me. And you ladies, please help me. If you think I'm stumbling for a moment, go ahead and finish that sentence for me. I don't, I'm fine. Or if I repeated myself, just let me know. Hey, Teresa, you repeated yourself, and then we can just move on. So those are the 2 things that I have out there. If everybody's okay, can you raise your hand? Just let me know that we're understanding on that one. Oh, good. Thank you, Jacqueline. All right. Okay, good. Well, welcome. Did any of you ladies get my PowerPoint, by the way? I have a PowerPoint presentation. I would love to be able to put that up there. Let's see. I'm going to see, because I would really like to get some emails. Can I go ahead and email this, Tansy, to them? Because these are the things I want to go over with you today. So what I'd like to do is go through the PowerPoint, just kind of give you an overview of what's going on out there. And then from there, we can go back, okay? And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And if you have children, that's okay. If you need to get up for a moment, please do. Another thing too, for housekeeping rules, I just like to say, if you can at least keep your phones on silent or vibrate during this time, that's fine. You have to take the call, please do. Also too, personally, depending on how long this goes, every hour when I'm in a situation like this, I personally like to take a break on top of the hour for about 5-10 minutes. Is everybody clear on that? Are we okay with that? If I can have your hands on that to take okay, good. All right. So, what I'd like to do is I'm going to go over my PowerPoint, and I would love to, I'm going to get this out to you. Maybe not at this moment, but I'm going to go over a few things. First off, I consider myself a senior mortgage professional because I've held so many different roles. So instead of saying this week I'm a quality assurance or I'm an underwriter, I just say senior mortgage professional. I am a Navy veteran. This is a mentorship. And so what I like to see is there's some supplies that you may want to look into. I suggest like 6 thin notebooks. Also 2 little tabs. Let me see. These are kind of like, if anybody can tell me, can you see these?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Whiteout, of course, my trusty 10-key calculator. Love it. Also, too, I always get blue and black pens, a highlighter, a black marker, and a laptop. Now, the next thing is, does anybody know what is the #1 American dream? Can anybody tell me that?
Owning a home.
That's right. That's absolutely right. The #1 American dream, if you go around and do a survey, they're going to say home ownership, or I would love to own my own home. That's true. So what are you going to learn today? Well, several things. A great career in residential mortgage lending. Great pay. Um, you can basically start out minimum, bare minimum, 40,000. I would say it's higher than that. Advancement. Oh my goodness. Every 6 months to a year, you should be able to advance. That's up to you. Many types of roles. We'll get into that. Banker hours, your normal 8 to 5, 9 to 6, which is really nice, especially if you have children at home going to school or you have a spouse at home, right? Also, too, benefits, medical, dental, 401k matching, paid time off, and a lot more. My company itself offers pet insurance. So that just gives you an idea there, right? Also, too, so we're going to cover some topics. I'm going to kind of go through this fast, but we'll get back to it. I just kind of want to just let y'all know up front what we're doing, if that's okay. So the topics we're going to cover is going to be the type of investors, mortgage loan forms, regulations, federal and government, very important. How to take a mortgage loan application, documents needed. What does it take to approve a home loan? Current computer systems, we'll go over that too. Title companies, appraisals, contracts, purchase agreements, court orders, third-party vendors, which is going to be your flood certs, title, appraisals, red flags. We're going to look at red flags. That's, as loans are being processed. The F word, very important. I know you're probably going, oh gosh, what's she going to do? Wait till I get to that point, you'll understand. Mortgage terms and guidelines. Okay, so a little bit of a history, just to let y'all know if you've heard of it, and I'm sure a lot of you have. Fannie Mae. If I can just get a yes, have many of you heard about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's right. Fannie Mae is the Federal Mortgage Association. They were founded in 1938. The next one is Freddie Mac, the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation. They were also founded in 1970. And these, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, are also known, you're going to hear this term, government-sponsored enterprise. But really, if you ever hear GSE, again, GSE, those are the loans that we're kind of referring to, because we do tend to, in the mortgage industry, speak to each other in mortgage terms back and forth. And which is one of the, this is going to be a good stepping ground for everybody to do this. The next one, I know everybody's heard this one, VA loans, right? A lot of you, have you had a VA loan before or know what a VA is? That's your veterans mortgage loans, right? What that is, the VA is guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, military. So, of course, you have to qualify based on military status, retired, so many years in. You could be a surviving spouse. Again, those are great loans. What it does, the VA, just a little background, they don't process your loans. They don't originate your loans. What they've done is they designated lenders throughout the United States. And a lot of lenders do love the VA loans because in case it goes into default, into foreclosure, the VA does come in, guarantee the loan, and pays off the loan for that lender. So that way that lender is not at a loss. The next one, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this one too, FHA. That's your Federal Housing Administration. It's the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, 1934. And the last one, which is, believe it or not, kind of coming around and it's getting out there, it's gaining some strength now, is the USDA, which is the United States Department of Rural Mortgage. And don't think it's like farm or you have to be out, 5 acres on a dirt road, some are really rural. That's not true. It's in subdivisions too. But that's also a great loan. That's becoming popular. And I've given links on those so y'all can, get in there. Now, because I'm not going to be able to train every topic for you. However, there's a online mortgage course that I highly recommend, because I've actually taken these courses just for me to freshen up here and there. And and this is what I recommend. I'm not demanding or, again, but it's called On Course Learning. And I do have a link for that. And they have it for state specific or national. I would suggest national, because in today's world in mortgage lending, you're just not going to deal with the state that you live in. You're going to be doing all, including Alaska and Hawaii. But they have all these courses. Overall, there's 125 courses, and they're online, and it's all on your time. However, a lot of these classes only last between 15 minutes to maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. Each one will have a video, scenarios, and they mirror, again, like with all the companies I've worked for, it's like the same coursework. And I actually was able to meet with the director and the sales manager of On Course Learning, and he has just as much experience that I do in the business, and he's the one that is mirroring all the regulations and the classes, etc. So there's no confusion. But after each course, you can take a quiz. If you pass, you can download your certificates, which I highly recommend, so we can keep that in order. And then also too, let's say like 6 months from now, you decide, well, let me go back and recheck this. You can get back on there. It will be there forever. So I do highly recommend this. And we figure about a 60 hours worth of online training. I figure if you can do 10 hours a week, maybe within 6 weeks, you should be able to have that completed. And so that's a good thing. So you're going to go over certain classes. It's like there's a lot of guidelines, regulations that we have to follow. You have the ethical dilemmas and fight against mortgage fraud, huge. Adjustable rate mortgages, mortgage processing 101, the new uniform regulation. Well, it's really like the loan application itself, mortgage math. So kind of throw out, if you have a mathematic degree, you're really good at math, mortgage math is going to be somewhat different, but it's easy. But just let you know, you will need to learn. It's just kind of flipping certain things around. Also, too, you're going to have compliance training. We have the RESPA, the truth in lending, the 3-day docs, etc. And of course, you're going to have the right to privacy, Equal Opportunity Act. And then it's going to go into underwriting, red flags of fraud. That's your F word. The reason why I say that is when you're working with customers, when you're within your department and you see something that does not make sense, it does not look right, especially with today's technology, and you want to scream fraud, okay? You can't say that word, so I always call it the F word. What it is misrepresentation. So just keep that in mind. That's the F word. Also, too, you're going to go over title insurance, the mortgage profession. That's really important. Third-party vendor management. Again, that's your flood cert, your appraisals, your title. Another big hot topic in the mortgage industry is the ability to repay. The qualified mortgage rules. Do they really qualify for this loan? Do they really have the ability to pay back this home loan? Excuse me. FHA factor in mortgage lending. Again, FHA loans. Mortgage servicing and compliance series. Mortgage servicing basically is for once that loan is funded, it goes back to the investor. And you get these monthly statements every month for your mortgage, your payments due, taxes, insurance, all that. Well, that's what we call the servicing side. Also to the secondary market, we'll get into that. That's how lenders like Chase, Bank of America, PNC, all your big banks, small banks, they actually will sell a pool of loans back and forth to each other. And that's how they kind of like build up their credit card again, so they can go back out there and originate new loans. We'll go over USDA loans, Key components of credit report, very important. Mortgage loan cycle, federal foreclosure laws and regulations, exploring loan servicing rules, again, understanding procedures, insurance compliance, appraisals, reverse mortgages. Now, ladies, I have to tell you something. When I started this out doing my PowerPoint, reverse mortgages, oh, we'll never do those because I've never done one. Well, my company, we just picked up an affiliate. Guess what we're going to be doing? Reverse mortgages. So I'm not going to rule that one out, ladies. There are systems. The main system that's being used right now, which is very important, is the Encompass. This was developed just not too long ago, but it is like the mainframe of all mortgage lending companies right now. I have a link where you can actually go out to Bing and do almost a 3.5-hour tutorial to tell you how to go through the system. What the mortgage industry did at this time is actually, because there were so many different systems, like you'd have a system for a branch for loan originators, you'd have a system for processors, and you would have a system for the underwriter, and everything was always having to be import, export, etc. Well, with Encompass, what they've done is it's all interfacing now, and just depending on what your role is, will give you what rights you have throughout the system. It is in detail, it is a lot, but the whole goal is once you finish all your courses, then we'll get into the systems, because one's not going to make sense for the other. But it is very important that you also learn how to do that. Okay. So with that, let's see, we've got, okay. So, and there's more, like I'm an ACES because I'm in quality control right now. So I'm like an auditor. So I'm auditing loans prior to going to the closing, because we want to make sure all our documents are in and the loan's going to qualify. And then, so we have different systems. And again, we're going to go back and forth. We have the Fannie Mae, which is DU desktop underwriting, Freddie Mac, loan prospector, and the LPA, which is your loan product advisor, which is really under Freddie Mac. But what we're getting to, though, when I first started out way back when, everything was manual. Now a lot of it is automatic. It really takes a lot of time and, work and stress off of you. We're going to go over loan products. Conforming, conventional, up to $484,350. That's just your conforming limits. We have non-conforming, your jumbo. HELOC, HE loans, those are your equity loans. Very important, two other terms I'm going to throw out is close-in, fixed rate loans in a designated time, meaning it's a fixed rate payment over like 36 months, 60 months. Like when you buy your car, that's a fixed rate, that's closed in. Open it. Allows borrowers to continually adjust the borrower's amount and payment back over an indefinite time. That's usually your revolving credit cards like Pennies, Discover, Chase, any of your Visas. Those are what we consider open end. Also, too, really out there too, it's great, is down payment assistance. We have that. And then we're going to go over the values of the property. I really want to go in a little bit over the appraisals versus home inspection. We have types of loans, which is going to be your purchase, cash out refinance, limited cash out refinance, no cash out refinance, streamline refinance. Okay, so we're going to go down. There's different types of properties. I know a lot of you will know this. You have owner occupied. That's meaning, of course, you're the borrower. You and your family are going to actually occupy this home as your primary residence. Investment property. That's where you buy another piece of property that you're going to rent, or maybe, what I did personally, I did investment property for my daughter and her family to live in it, but I do charge them rent. Second home. Let's say you live in Georgia, but you want a home in Melbourne, Florida, because it's on the beach. So you have a second home. That way you can go maybe once a month and it's your second home. You cannot have it rented, but you're using it for an enjoyment, for your vacation, for your family. So that's second home. Then you have your first loan only, first in equity, and of course your first and down payment purchase. Then we have property types, which is your single family residence, 1 to 4 units, condo townhomes, manufactured homes. Down here, I have co-ops. Has anybody ever heard of co-ops before? Have you ever heard me? Do you ever watch Law and Order? Co-ops. Do you ever hear that?
No, but Mr. Reese, I have a question on that second home. So I know, like, when you have rental property, you have to pay like what investment property, you have to pay like additional taxes and all that. So you're saying that, like, if I just went and bought a home in a condo in Miami and I said, listen, it's not rental property, it's my second home, I'm going to live in it, then I won't have to pay all those additional taxes because it's not a rental property. That's what you're saying?
Well, sometimes, well, it all depends what the state is. Like in here in Florida, we have a homestead exemption for primary residence, right? It depends on which state is requiring. Now, if you're buying it as a second home, meaning it's a second home, you
Right,
can't
it's
rent
a
it
second
out.
home. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be cheaper probably on insurance too, because you're doing it because you don't have to depend on other people who can potentially destroy your property investment, right? But again, that's going to be a state tax situation on that. What I've seen personally, that when you own a second home, you're not dinged as much as you are
Okay.
with investment.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That was the question. Like, so basically, if any one of us were to buy a second home, we shouldn't say, hey, this is our investment property. We should just buy it. Like, hey, this is another house that I have. This is just a second home. This is not an investment property. I'm going to live here too.
And, and there's ways of doing that too, because to prove it too, and the state's going to require this. Let's say you go to the tax collector's office, right? Mm-hmm. What you're going to do is put the utilities in your name in that second home. You see, you're going to put your electricity, your water, cable, whatever you have there in your name. Also, too, when you go to your insurance company to get that insurance declaration, or, of course, you got to have hazard insurance, right? They will list it as a second home.
Okay.
So it's going to be insured differently: primary, second, investment.
Okay.
You see? So that way you will have your proof to the tax collector when you go, this is my second home. It's not investment. Mm-hmm. So that's what you do. Because most people
and you
would
can still invest, do like what you got it.
I'm sorry?
I said that's good information. That's good to know.
And you know what? Second homes are a big thing too right now. Mm-hmm. They really are. They really are. So, okay. So
you're talking about the co-op.
Yeah, co-op. Who knows somebody tell me what a co-op is.
I don't know what a co-op is.
Law and Order. You never heard that? Oh, I have that co-op. Come to my co-op. Or
is it like a shared living space?
Like in New York. New York, they're full of co-ops. Chicago, with like your big cities where it's so tight, land is like a lot of your celebrities have co-ops. Okay. Last week I would have said you'll never see them. I don't know. This industry is kind of going crazy. I was actually on a team when I was at JP Morgan Chase. We did co-ops. We had to do audit loans, and they're not the easiest ones, but hopefully not. But those are what co-ops are. You really shouldn't see that. So, but I just want to kind of give you the difference of that, right? Okay, so there's a lot of mortgage terms, but I'm going to take a break here for a moment, and I'm going to tell you some fun facts first, okay? Let me tell you some fun facts. Why? What I've been doing. Again, I started out in San Diego back in 1989. We had old IBM typewriters, and everything was typed. All our documents, our verifications of deposits and employments, etc. Everything was manual. From there, I went to Little Rock, Arkansas. I was there for 10 years, and then been in Florida. And again, everything's national, plus the remote industry has really opened it up. But I can tell you, in Arkansas, I actually became an expert witness for Saline County, Arkansas, for the circuit court because I actually was asked by a neighbor to testify on their behalf over a property dispute. So I did. The judge and their lawyer, or the defendant's lawyer, was so happy that the judge leaned over and goes, "Do you mind? We could really use you in our other cases because we do get a lot of disputes, especially with the family court, when it comes to a home." Sure. I only got $50, but I got out of the office for the day. So there we go. So I have that behind me. I have actually done, it's so exciting, can't tell you who it is, A-list celebrities, movie stars, big movie stars, singers, artists, producers, TV producers, NFL players, a lot of them, politicians, big time. One funny story, I didn't know I was talking to one of the biggest well-known football player in creation. Okay. He's retired. You still see him. I can't tell you who he is. I would have conversations with. I knew he was an NFL player. I just didn't realize really who he was. Well, now I know. So I've had that. That's fun stuff, right? So I'm always having fun. I'm going to tell you real quick too. This is how much fun I have at work. I did a loan yesterday. It's going to blow you away. His base pay, people, $850,000 a year. A year. That's just base pay. That has nothing to do with his bonuses or cuts, whatever you want to go, whatever. So it's interesting because you're like, okay, I can spend money like the rest of it, but I wouldn't know what to do living on $850,000 a year. I wouldn't know how to do it. I'd probably give it a good try. But anyways, just to let you know. So you see, this is what's so fun. You get to see the other half, how they live. You get to see mansions. You get to see, you're like, oh, I can't wait. This property value is $750,000 to find out it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 900 square foot condo in Hawaii. That's what you're going to get. Or Southern California, right? But the same property, $750,000 in Georgia, you're probably getting a 6,000 square foot mansion. You see? So that's always fun too. So I just have too much fun doing this job. I've also been on local news over the years, just bringing me out there. Teresa, get out there. We got reporters. They want to talk about the latest mortgage industry. What do we have to offer? Things like that. So it's going to keep you going. It's fun too. So I'm going to do about another 10 minutes, and we'll probably take a quick break. So we're going to go over mortgage loan terms and abbreviations. This is so important. We have our own language, and the reason why is because we're going to do what we call report writing. You're not going to do creative writing, but report writing. And it's just to cut down, writing novels, etc. And it's overall industry wide. So you can go from Chase to Bank of America to a credit union, and everybody's going to speak the same language. So and we're going to go over some of those just real quick as an example. A CD, meaning closer disclosure. That's what you get up front when you've applied for a home loan, and it just goes over the loan amount you're applying for and closing costs and down payment, etc. That again is a closing disclosure. You'll hear it as a CD. DTI, huge. DTI is your debt to income ratio. That's how much debt you have per month to the income you have per month ratio. You will always hear that a lot. FICO. I'm sure a lot of you have heard FICO. It has to do with credit scores, right? HOAs. That's your homeowner association. If you live in a certain subdivision or community where you have laws, you have restrictions. Also, too, they may cover if you're in a townhome or a condominium, maybe the outside walls, what we call walls inside, outside walls, landscaping. And the reason for homeowners associations, some people are really driven to live in those type of communities, is because it's been known that they do have these rules and restrictions, and basically it does help keep the value up in the subdivision because everybody has to comply. So let's say you have earth tone homes. Well, this prevents someone coming in and painting something like a bright purple. Okay. Or let's say their car broke down, but it's been like that for 2 years and it's still in the driveway and it's an eyesore. That would not be allowed. Situations like that. Another one you're going to hear a lot is LTV. That's your loan to value. That's the amount of the loan you're going to borrow to the value of the property of the home. You'll hear this LTV. Then from there, you'll see this too. So I'll go over it real quick. LTV, CTLV. CLTV is combined loan to value. That's where you have your first, which is your first loan, and then you went and got like what we call HELOC equity loan. You put in the two loan balances together, that would be your combined loan to value. High HLTV, that would be, let's say you borrowed a credit limit on your second equity, 50,000, but you've only used 30,000. The highest would be your 50,000 because that's your maximum that you borrow. PMI, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this. That's your private mortgage insurance, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this, MIP, mortgage insurance premium, and we'll get to that too. Okay, you'll hear this a lot too, a lot of times. Did you get that VOD, Debbie? Oh, you mean the verification of deposit. That's how we verify what's in your checking, savings, 401k assets, liquid assets. VOE, another big one, verification of employment, because we have to verify your position if you're working, right? I'm sorry. REO, big one too. You'll hear this a lot. That's real estate owned. Do you own, like for Tansy, you own your home now, right, Tansy? You and your husband, you own your home,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
don't you? Okay, so you own your home. That's your real estate owned. Okay, so Tansy's going to go to Miami now, and she's going to buy that second home. That's her second REO, right? You're getting your second home, right? So when we say REO, so Tansy now, she's got the bug. Now she's going to buy the other house in Fort Lauderdale because she loves it too much.
Okay.
So now she's become an investor of some sorts, right? An entrepreneur in real estate. Love it. So
at what point do you have to stop saying this is my second home or my third home before, the banks or the powers that be are like, ding, 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 you have 10 but see, you're in a position residences. If it makes sense, and you're going to hear that a lot, ladies, does it make sense? Okay, for you, you're retired from the military, right? Yes. Do you actually, I know you're a city commissioner, but are you tied Monday through Friday? Okay, you're not. No. So what you're doing is you're doing your nonprofits plus you're doing your city work. Okay. Right. And you're tied to your laptop, I'm sure, and to this joy thing, right? The phone. However, for you, this would be great. This doesn't make sense. Well, Tansy, you're living in Tennessee, right? You got your primary. And you're going to Miami because that's your vacation home for the family. Right. But now you're going to need to go to Pensacola for your community work, right? Or your civil work, right? Even though it's different states, that's going to make sense to us that now you have another second home, family home. That will make sense because you're not working at AT&T as a supervisor, working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
because we know you're not going to be able to
Right.
take that much time off. But because you technically are retired and what you're doing is on your time, that's going to make sense to us. Do you see?
Mhm.
Do you see how that
Right.
works?
Okay, I understand. So if it can make sense, like that's why a lot of celebrities have a bunch of homes because they're like, hey, I'm here. I have to be in LA. I have to be in New York. I have to be in Atlanta. I have to be in Miami. So it makes sense. Yeah, I got it.
John Travolta, look at him.
Right.
Cher, Goldie Hawn, all of them, because they go on, like Wyoming, Montana. Those are like big Hollywood places. Did you guys know that?
Mm-hmm.
Those are big
Oh no,
places.
I didn't. I heard of Wyoming. I mean, I'm getting off the subject, but I've heard a lot of stuff with Wyoming. Like a lot of people go out there, like Tyler Perry, Kanye. They all had. Like, well, how are they out in Wyoming? But
Yeah, see, Tyler Perry, he practically owns Atlanta now.
Yeah.
He does. But then you've got to look at it. They're in Hollywood a lot. And the thing is with these, actors and actresses, they have families too. And they don't want to be set, they're going to get like, one floor of a hotel, but who wants to live in a hotel? At least if they have a home somewhere else where they film a lot or they're going to be there to retreat a lot, doesn't it make more sense for them to do that? See what I'm so that it's right. So we have, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you'll hear this a lot too, ladies. So we got verification of employment. You'll hear LOE or LOX, letter of explanation. That's anytime there's like derogatory credit on your credit report. When we pulled up your credit report, why is there different addresses showing up? Another big one is AKAs. Example, my maiden name is Pearson. I was married as Adams. I'm remarried as Melton. Okay. When I get my credit report pulled, it's where I could never get rid of that first husband's last name, but it keeps popping up. So then I have to write a letter of explanation. Are you Teresa Adams? I'm divorced. That was the previous married name. Or how come you were 2 months behind on your payment at Ford? You can easily say, oh, I was in the hospital, forgot about it, wasn't doing well, but I've caught up, something like that. So you'll hear that a lot. Letter of explanations, LOEs, LOXs, okay?
And how effective are those?
Very.
Okay.
If it makes sense.
Okay.
If it makes sense.
If it makes sense. Okay.
But, and you want them to be a little bit detailed. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I was late. Well, then the underwriter or the process is going to go back. Well, Mr. Smith, can you kind of explain that a little bit more?
I always use deployments as an excuse, and it works. Oh, I was deployed during that time.
Oh,
I used deployments.
And then we can always come back. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, right. Why were you late? I was deployed. I'm sorry. I was in Afghanistan. I was in Iraq.
I was in a foxhole with my M16.
They're like, oh, okay, but I didn't know if they just wrote it off or how effective it was or, what they think about that or, just because we are.
Right. No, it's very effective because, and I very rarely have I seen an LOE, a letter of explanation that I did not agree with, or I thought, nah, that doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And usually you want it dated and signed. And if you're a good processor, good loan officer, usually you're going to fill your borrowers out up front and you're going to have them do those letter of explanations, name changes, or why were you unemployed for 6 months? Oh, I just retired from the military. I decided to take 6 months off before I went back out in the workforce. Or my husband got transferred. It was just too much to look for a new job and do this and that. I took 3 months off. So as long as it makes sense.
And so what we're doing today is like to be a processor, to be a lender.
Well, here's the thing. Here we're going to get to that because I'm going to tell you all the roles that you can do. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's quite a few roles. Now, some of them you won't be able to do right off the bat without the experience. So that's just like REO. And then again, clear to close, which is CTC, clear to close. That's when the loan is ready from the underwriter. All the documents are in, everything's been approved. Now it's going to go to the closing table. So another big one, PIW. I know I'm kind of, if it sounds like I'm going too fast, I do apologize. Is there property inspection waiver? It's being used a lot instead of doing a full appraisal. And of course, we'll get to that. So I'm going to skip ahead because let me go to the rules. Okay. Why I am so passionate about this. Okay. Tansy. So here's some of these rules. Okay. So what I feel, if everybody is to not only do this workshop, but to do these courses that I've suggested, right? Plus going through taking several hours to work on the Encompass, okay? These roles are in demand. A loan assistant. A loan assistant typically does not need any experience, but if you have admin and if you love being that admin person in your department, then this is a role for you. Yes, you're going to learn some mortgage, but this is where you're probably working with the vice president, the department itself, correspondence, setting up meetings, all that. So that's your loan assistant. A loan processor. This is where I would like to see all these ladies get to, because a loan processor, right now, and I've seen it now, it could vary. Right now, typically I'm seeing a loan processor will start out between $55,000 to $65,000 a year, like a 1 year experience, okay, with bonuses. So you could probably add another 10 to 20,000 a year on that. Now, I think that's pretty good living.
That, ladies? Y'all hear that? 55,000 to 65. To process loans, stay at home.
Plus bonuses, don't forget, and benefits. Okay. Now, okay, so an underwriter. Now, this is a position to where you have to be a loan processor. For a lot of companies, they want a minimum of 3 years experience before you become an underwriter. And there's two different types of underwriters. You have conventional, which is your Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. So we're going back to Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. Conventional, you hear that, conforming, conventional, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. Direct endorsement is your VA loans, because you have to understand, because VA has different requirements and guidelines, because again, they are guaranteeing 100% of these loans. A direct endorsement, or DE, you hear that, a DE underwriter, government underwriter. Ladies, they are right now starting at $150,000 a year. I think that's some pretty serious money, plus bonuses. That's serious, right? So you ladies, if you can become a processor for 3 years, go into conventional underwriting, within a year, go into your DE, sky's the limit, right? All right. Another, and this is, again, another thing, like what I'm doing, QA, QC, that's quality audit, quality control. What I do is, after the underwriter has reviewed the loan and approved it, I then take it over. I look for any deficiencies, defects, any miscalculations, because we want to make sure our loans are clear to close, and Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, FHA, VA, USDA is going to keep those loans, okay? Because we still have to follow their guidelines. If we do not follow those guidelines, they're going to kick the loan right back to us, meaning that mortgage company is going to be responsible for that loan for the life of the loan, and they don't want that. If any of you have had any legal experience, right? If any of you, let me say this, in the Navy, we had yeomans, personnelmen. Do you have like a legal rank in the Army, Air Force? like you have, what's your MOS for clerical? Like
Uh,
personnel records.
like a 42 alpha.
Okay,
It's
so,
like a 40.
but, uh, but you have lawyers in the Army,
Well, we do.
correct?
We do. And
So let's
then,
say we have some veterans that actually did that job, right?
hmm
They may want to learn mortgage, but go into the legal side. You see?
hmm
So that's another big role. Legal's big too, because you're going to start working with compliance issues. Okay, now these two roles you can do just like with processing, huh? 2 more minutes, we're going to take a break. Is a closer and a funder. These two jobs also, you can start out like from day one, like a loan processor. Okay, so right now I'm going to give you one, two, three, four, five, about five positions in the beginning, just in your beginning. Also, too, here we go, too. Customer service. If you have customer service skills, you'd be the one on the phone, taking in loan apps or dealing with the customer, helping them with issues. Loss mitigation, that's for loans going into somewhat of a default foreclosure situation. Loan servicing, modifications, a trainer, I've been a trainer. Risk manager, again, those are underwriters that have moved up. They've been in the business, and they're the ones that are, the more difficult questions, answers.
hmm
So let's do this before we get to the next. Is everybody ready for like a 5 to 8 minute break? Are we okay for that? Okay. So it's 12:03. What time do you have?
It's 12:03 here Central, but some people are on Eastern too, so it's 12:03 or 1:03, depending on where you're at.
So let's get back here no later than 1:15, 15 after the hour. I'm going to get another soda and, but let's take a few minute break if you don't mind.
Okay.
And if you have any
Y'all can
questions,
you can mute and turn off your cameras if you want to during the break. But I'm gonna keep the
okay.
Zoom going.
Okay, that's fine. Also, too, ladies, if you have any kind of questions, anything you want to ask me, or if I'm going too fast, or you want to hear something again, let me know because I'll stop and I'll explain. I know I'm going kind of fast, but I kind of want to go through this and then we'll go ahead and okay? How's that? All right, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Tangi, are you talking? I can't hear you.
Oh, I was talking, but we're taking a break, so I didn't. I had it on mute.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a shame. All right. A lady at the casino. She lost all her money. She said, don't feel sorry for me. some blues. She said I wouldn't be over here. My man has been treating me right. I came here to try to catch him, yeah. Cause he's been sneaking around every night. But I got caught up over here, yeah. Got caught up in this scene. And I put all of my money in that doggone gallon machine. But these last $2, I'm not gonna lose. These last $2, yeah, I'm not gonna lose. I'm going from a bus fare and a hell for the jukebox. I got to hear me some down home blues. Oh, Lord. Lady at the casino lost all the money, yeah. She said, don't feel sorry. Don't feel sorry, honey. If you want to do a lady a favor, here's what I want you to do. Just loan me $2, yeah, until the next time I see you. But these last $2, I'm not gonna lose. These last $2, I'm not gonna lose. Both from a bus fare, other one for the jukebox. To hear me some blues. Oh, yeah. These last $2, I'm not gonna lose. These last $2, I'm not gonna learn my lesson. I wanna hear some blues. All right.
Teresa, we're ready whenever you are.
Just let you know I'm back, Tansy.
Yeah, we're ready whenever you are, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So, and again, I have to tell you, I'm going to go back a little bit why I love this mortgage industry. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, it's a crazy business. Just to let you know, my company itself right now, starting January 1st, I'm going to tell you this, ladies, and I'm going to get some pushback. But listen, starting January 1st, my company, we are getting what they call unlimited PTO, unlimited vacation paid. Meaning, there's no more accruing 2 weeks, 3 weeks a year. We get whatever we want if it fits business needs. 2, you are meeting your production and your goals because you will have that as far as this job, right? And does it make sense? So, how many of us have been wanting to go back to Europe for like a 2-3 week vacation, right? Right. So, instead of trying to do that 4-day trip, 26 nations, right? Now you could say, hey, I'm going to London, I'm going to go to Wales, I'm going to go to Scotland, but I need, a good 3 weeks to do this. But you're requesting, this is as long as you're meeting your production and your goals, you're going to get paid for that. A month later, your husband wants, he found a trip, for 5 days, put that in, as long as you're meeting your production and goals, and as long as we're not in a crunch period, right? Oh no, you need to go, I don't know, get your tonsils out or something. So you're going to stay a week home recovering. Well, there goes your week. Now you get a week home. So it's really beneficial if you look at it that way. And again, it helps morale, and it helps making that employee work harder every day, meeting their goals, and which is really important, your life, family, or work family balance, right? So our company is doing that, and when one mortgage company brings out something like that, the other ones will follow. You say so that I will not be surprised if other mortgage companies are going to start bringing that in too. Okay. So to continue on, this is what I like about this industry too. You can have side jobs, right? As long as it's not a conflict of interest. So a side job for me, I'm personally a notary public because your loan documents have to be notarized, right? Well, I'm a notary, so I could do that after hours. I actually offer free notary to our veterans. And notaries right now are making between $100, $400, doing a signing. Another one too is tax prepare, because you will be learning tax returns. Well, and I've done this in the past too, where I've gone and worked for H&R Block or Hewitt Jackson. Why not? Another, transferring skills and roles. So now that you know this whole mortgage real estate end of it, working for a title company, becoming a title officer, working for a real estate lawyer, okay? Appraisals, working for an appraisal company. There's actually county jobs out there looking for people with mortgage background. Banking, consumer loan lending, that would be like your auto loans, personal loans, those type of, because again, if you can do a mortgage, trust me, you can do an auto loan. Okay. What I suggest, and I've done all this, is before tax season, H&R Block, some of these other Jackson Hewitt, they'll come out looking for tax preparers. Now you don't have to, be a tax preparer, but perhaps taking their tax classes, on how to prepare tax returns, because you will be reviewing those, and it just makes you more knowledgeable to understand, how taxes work. Notary, that's another thing that I did, because we always need notaries, especially when you're on site. And that's because you may have a document that did not get notarized. So at least if we have a notary on site, we can get that document taken care of. A real estate course. Don't get your license though, unless the company is going to require you get a real estate license. Let's say you're going to be a loan originator. California requires that you get a real estate license. Some states like Florida, if I was to get a real estate license, that would be a conflict of interest. But it's okay to take a state course and for to be a realtor, because again, they're the ones that are out there taking your buyers and your sellers, doing the contracts, etc. That's another suggested course I take. Another one's Microsoft Excel. Some companies want to know if you have Excel experience, and that kind of varies. But again, that was just one of my courses I just suggested. This is just to show you what I have done. I am a mentor with one of the veteran groups. It's the Long Walk Home. So again, this is like part of my service hours that I do. So I'm a mentor. Here's my notary, just to show you. I do have my notary. And this is, okay, it's under my previous married name. But remember, ladies, I was talking about that direct endorsement training with the VA. I received this back in 1996 in Little Rock, Arkansas. But see, now that I have it, it's good for life. Okay. And this is where I can become a DE or a direct endorsement underwriter and probably make 150 up. Okay. But again, that's just to let you know a little bit about me on that. Any questions? Any fears? I would love to hear some feedback right now if we can get some. Does anybody have any banking or mortgage consumer auto loan industry behind them? Anybody?
I don't think anybody up here does. I know that I think a couple of the ladies were thinking about after the military going into real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like being a realtor. But I was thinking personally, even just knowing them, that maybe this was a better way to go.
It
because
is.
you're going to still be making money. Because I feel like, and I don't know because I'm not in the real estate business or the mortgage business, but I would think that the way the housing market is now, that a new realtor would probably have a difficult time trying to break into it because there's not a lot of houses. They're going for so much. I know while we're buying a house, I have a cousin that just started real estate as a real estate agent. I did not go with her because I know what I needed. I know what I wanted, and I wanted someone experienced.
Absolutely. You got to have that confidence.
This is business. Yeah, this is business. So I personally think that this would be the best way to go. And plus, it pays really good because as a real estate agent, if you're not selling houses, you're not going to make any money.
Exactly.
So this is a guaranteed paycheck, and like you said, you could also get bonuses and stuff like that on top of it, but it's guaranteed money, and then you'll learn the ins and outs. So if you want to be a realtor later, you have this experience too. The back end of it. So that's
right.
What I think, and that's what I thought it was a great idea, to have you on to speak to us.
And I'll tell you, that's a good point because in 2004, I moved to Melbourne, Florida. I left Little Rock, left my ex-husband, and I was working for Washington Mutual as a senior underwriter for HELOCs and HE loans, which again is your equity loans, right? My brother and his wife left San Diego because of cost of living, right? So they moved to Melbourne, and he went to go buy a house. Now my sister was giving him gift funds for a down payment. They bought a house. The realtor, this was her first house. I got to tell you, Tansy, if you would have seen the mess of that contract, when I saw it, I was livid. So I called back the realtor. And it's typical where sellers will pay up to 6% of closing costs, right? To help, get that buyer in and they can sell their home. And I asked her, I said, well, where's the closing costs, the buyer's closing or seller's closing costs? It's realtor fees. Oh, they're already paid. No, realtor fees is the commission that the realtors are going to make. That's paid by the seller. I'm talking about the buyer. Where's the closing cost for the buyer for the closing costs on the loan? This went back and forth. She didn't have a clue. Number one, first house. Number two, she had no idea it takes a loan to buy a home. So how can you be, I'm serious, right? How can you be intelligent selling a home, but you don't know the lending side of it, which everybody needs that side of it, right? So it was tough. I got to tell you, it was a tough. My brother was all stressed out. I had to go back to the realtor. I made her go back to the seller, redo the contract. Okay. I looked at it. I mean, I had to, and I have a friend of mine, her son just passed the real estate exam. So I said, oh, he needs to take one of my workshops. Why? Her son. Well, how are you going to sell homes, sound experienced and confident and knowledgeable if you don't know the lending side of it? Because you have to know the property type and what type of loans they can qualify for. But you brought that up. That's absolutely true. Also, too, do you know a lot of realtors? I have a coworker of mine that I worked with for 5 years. When we got laid off, a bad layoff back in 2017, she became a realtor because she already knew that end of it, right? This end of it. And she's very successful because of it. So it like I said, this whole learning this is so transferable, right? Another girlfriend I worked with for 9 years, several different companies. She's actually a title officer working remote. In fact, her husband just retired E8 out of the Navy. They left Kingsland, Georgia. He's got a civilian job in Maryland. She got to keep her job because she's working remote. Because she knows the mortgage industry, she became a title officer, so she's a title officer remote. So can you see how that works out? It really does. So, it's kind of, and I'm telling you, and I'm not going to be political here, but just let's go back years, okay? Anytime there's a change of administration, right? Rates kind of go weird. Conflict overseas, like when Kuwait, right? Rates went weird. Unrest, current unrest. George Floyd, right? Believe it or not, because of the unrest that was going on and the riots and the marches and stuff, the market went weird. Okay. So you will see that, but if you give it a few days or a week, you'll see that the rates kind of calm down. So you don't have to be too alarmed with that. That's typical. Because keep in mind, I'm not in economics. I am not a math brilliant, science, any of that. But I've been in this business so long, I've seen the history of it. The driving force in our U.S. economy is actually based on home sales. If homes are not selling, our economy tends not to do well, okay? So, and then because what Biden's doing right now, trying to do that whole infrastructure, right. Have you noticed that the rates are going down or staying down? Have you noticed that? Okay. Home sales. And because COVID's helped out too, as oddly as that is too. So as long we need to keep this economy going, well, that means we need more home sales, right? So again, and I think this is going to go on for a while. I really do. And I think that's why there's such a demand out there. There's so many companies out there. Um, I've never seen this, and a couple of us have remarked on this in the industry that they're actually hiring personnel without experience. My goal is to, if you're interested in this business, let me help you give you a leg up. Take the workshop, do these online courses, have your certificates. So when you do apply and you have the keywords in your resume, okay, you have a leg up to get in there. And you're not going to be totally confused or hear the term, you know, what was that one? Fake it till you make it. I hate fake it till I make it because I just say that to me is too chaotic, or just wing it, right? So, and
Right.
again, and it's not like you're taking like an advanced biology class. These, a lot of the terms, what you're going to hear, you could be surprised once you start taking these courses that you already have heard this through TV, your relatives, yourself, buying homes. Another good thing about being a veteran, types of income, right? Military income, retirement income, reserves income, VA disability income. Because you ladies know what an LES is. You know what COLA means. You know what BHS is or BAH, CPay, combat pay, uh, hazard pay, right? We know cost of living, COLA, depending on, like, Hawaii is very expensive to live there, right? So the military will adjust your living with pay. But yet, let's say you get stationed in, I don't know, Memphis, Tennessee, because I was stationed there at one point. Well, it's a lot cheaper to live in Memphis than it is in Hawaii. So your pay will adjust. So, and then, reservists, they get paid once a month, not twice a month. So having that veteran background, that military background, that's a plus too. Because and there's a lot of, depending where you live or what company kind of targets at one state, they get a lot of veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And I can always tell a civilian underwriter. I can always tell she's a civilian because I usually have to redo the income. You see? So that's, and then your ranks too. You know the difference between E5 and O5, right?
Right.
Seriously.
Big difference. Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Also, I know, but you'd be surprised. Like I said, I can always spot a civilian underwriter. Let's see. Another thing I always say too is, like, for me, even though I'm not out there in the sales force, and I have been before, it's not something I like to do anyways, but I promote my company. Here's some great things that I suggest. You're driving around in your neighborhood, you see a for sale sign or open house, right? Go to that house, do your open house. If you're working for a company, promote your company. Oh, hey, by the way, I work for ABC Mortgage. I'm a loan processor, though I'm not in sales, but please call us. We have some great people, on our staff can help you. That's great, right? Plus, while you're in that home, you're looking at how they stage the home for sale. You're starting to absorb, right? You're not buying the house. You're going there as part of a learning, right? So I go to open houses all the time. It drives my husband crazy. Do we have to go do it? Yeah. And then, so I promote. Another thing I do, and I do it twofold, is I'll go to realtor events in town, like how we do like the Vets on Tap, or I'm sure you guys have like happy hours, or Tansy, doesn't some of your veteran groups have combined quarterly meetings or monthly meetings or something? Okay, so I'll do that, but at the same time promoting where I work at. Okay, that's always because here's another thing too. Even though if you're not in sales, but you meet someone within your group, they're more than likely going to trust you because you're not a complete stranger. They already have that confidence in you. Okay, so I do that. That's another thing I do. Oh, Do you have on Sunday mornings or sometimes in the mornings they do the real estate, what homes are for sale in your area? They show the houses. Does anybody know what I'm talking about, like on Sunday mornings on TV? A real estate show where they show all the new listings. Okay, well, we
I've
have
seen
that
No,
like
here.
HGTV
I've never
shows,
seen it
but I
here, but
haven't seen one specific to like my area.
Okay, those are good to watch because you're going to see the other half, how people, because especially if you're processing or in the mortgage industry nationally, you're going to be dealing with everybody. Okay, a property in Hawaii, okay, they have to have AC, but you're not going to see a property in Hawaii with heat. You see, that's not a requirement. However, if your property's in Maryland, it's okay, they don't have AC, but they have to have heat. If you live in California, depending on what part of California, I grew up without a heat, uh, heat or AC. Oh no, we had a heat, but we hardly used it. It was no AC. That's typical. Florida, you got to have both. Arkansas, you got to have both. You got to have both AC and heat. So again, the demographics, you're going to learn that. So you don't have to be so surprised. Oh my gosh, they don't have heat in their house. Well, that's because they live in Hawaii. Their temperatures are typically 80s, high 80s all year round up. So that's, you'll learn that. I love looking at appraisals because that's always fun too, because you get to see how homes are being, the new decorations, the new fad, the new trends on new colors, flooring, all that. That's fun too. When you see appraisals too, you're going to see some stuff that sometimes you just don't want to see. If you see an appraisal, which you see a lot, especially if they're selling their home is already being broken down. Their kitchen, their boxes and all that. So you're going to see a lot of messes. A lot of times that's because they're in the process of, getting ready to pack to move out. So you'll see that. Yes, I have seen some homes that are like, oh, how do they live like that? You're going to see it, but then you're going to see some other homes like, are they even living in their home? So you'll see that, right? Like I had property yesterday, $3 million. I got to look at that house. Oh, that was fun. It had 9 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, over 100 years old, but it wasn't upgraded. I thought that was kind of odd. Huge home, huge, beautiful outside, everything. So that's a lot of fun. So that's why I'm saying this business is fun. Because I was in Little Rock and it's a very political area, I've done some big name politicians' loans there, believe it or not. That was fun. I also met some people there. I actually met Donna Flowers. She's beautiful, by the way. Paula Jones, we did her loan. Bill Clinton used to come across the street because they had the office right across the street from us. He used to come in. Very charismatic man, by the way. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. But again, a lot of these courses, once you get the first class, you get the second one. You get the second one. Do you understand how that's working? And again, it's not going to be like killing your brain. Another thing too about this industry, a college degree is preferred, but it's not required. Thank you. Another one is, because I don't have a degree, another one is usually high school diploma or GED. Whether you want to state your veterans status is up to you. Also, too, they're not looking if you have an honorable or dishonorable discharge. That's not going to go against you. Now, as far as background checks, there will be background checks, but this is what they're going to be looking for. Criminal, any kind of criminal history, okay? Especially if you did something like robbery or burglary, anything that was stealing, don't even apply. You got to be an honest person in this business because confidentiality is its number one thing. because so I did this A-list celebrity years ago. I know everything about this person now. But if I was to sit here and tell you, oh, this big name celebrity, this is how much money they have, da, 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 I mean, everybody's going to know about it. Well, before you know, they know where it came from. It's me. Well, I just broke that confidentiality, and I'm going to lose my job forever. So you've got to be an honest person. Now, one thing I've noticed the last few years too, they're not doing drug testing. I think a lot of it has to do with certain states have legalized marijuana or legalized medical marijuana. So I don't see that being that hasn't been coming up lately as far as the drug test. Okay. Because I've had to take drug tests for years, but that has been happening. They're going to look at a credit report, but this is what they're going to look for credit. Not everybody has good credit. Okay. They're going to look at if you have recent judgments. Okay. Big ones. The reason is because they don't want to put themselves at a risk hiring someone that is a potentially financial situation to where you can sell third-party information, our clients or borrowers, okay? And we say to the black market or the back alley. So, but even if you have poor credit, an LOE, right, Tansy? An LOE will work. By the way, I was out of work for so many months, or I'm right in the middle of a divorce, or I have a sick child, or this is why I can't pay my bills. That's okay. An LOE will work all the time. Just be honest and does it make sense, okay? So don't let that scare you. Even if you've had a bankruptcy or foreclosure so many years prior, you're still okay. Life happens, and we understand that. But mainly, they're just looking to make sure you have not been arrested for a felony or any kind of a financial gain. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I can tell you what happened a few years ago. I went back to Chase after Washington Mutual went under and Chase bought them. Because they were doing what we call the Obama modification, and we had a lot of requests, they had brought in a lot of people that had no experience because they needed the people. So they did a quick training. Well, next thing I know, we're sitting there, and there was quite a few of them, and there was always chatter. And we were allowed to have our cell phones at our desks at that time. Next thing I know, here comes law enforcement, FBI, and they're in their black suits, everything. Next thing I know, they're taking a whole row of these people, chaining them, right? What they were doing is they were taking their cell phone, taking the screenshots of like the loan application, social security numbers, date of birth, driver's license, etc. And they were actually selling that information to a ring. They all got arrested. So for like working in a site, a lot of times you cannot have your cell phone. But again, you're going to be signing forms as an employee that you're not going to use this information, sell this information, all that. And again, let's be honest, right? So, but I think that could be even in medical. I would think that would be something too they would look at, right, Tansy? If you're in a medical situation, field, like a nurse or Tansy?
I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying about the confidentiality and being honest. I would think too, if you're like in the medical industry, you would expect the same thing from your employees, like a nurse or a doctor, etc. So we got that. Another thing is very important, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to bring this up, and there's a reason for this. Okay. This is so important on every loan, and there's a reason for it. We have what we call verified participation in loans. This goes with the realtor selling and the buying realtors. It goes with the loan originator, processor, underwriter, your mortgage company, title company, appraiser, all of them. And it's because we are making sure that these people, party vendors, are approved, because there is a lot of fraud out there, unfortunately, but there is. So here's one, and you'll see this is mainly with FHA loans. It's CAIVRS. You'll see this every time. It's called the Credit Alert Interactive Voice Response System. I know it's like, oh my God. But what it is, we're going to search for any outstanding delinquent federal debt or prior loss in connection with the loan application. So a federal debt would be a student loan, because student loans are government backed, and you sign an application that you're going to pay back these student loans. Well, if you don't, the government's at a loss, federal government. So now we're not going to allow you to get a federal loan, which is FHA, Federal Home Loan Association, right? Another one is in connection with a loss with the loan application, meaning misrepresentation. The ones that do that is going to be your FHA, your VA, and your USDA, because they're federally backed loans. Student loans, foreclosures, again, FHA, VA, USDA. Also, too, they're going to look at judgments. When I say judgments, though, I'm talking some like a judgment on a home that you let go, and the courts actually did a judgment, meaning you still owe on that home. That's what a judgment is. Now, here's another one, exclusionary list. Again, we do that on every single loan, every person that is on that loan app. That includes individuals. It includes individuals from participating in transactions or doing business. Let's say you have a realtor who's been out there scamming, and it was reported and verified. Well, we don't want to be working with that realtor. We don't want to be working with that title company who falsely insured something that they shouldn't have. Or we don't want to be working with a correspondent lender who the loan officer is already getting in trouble for fraudulent loans. So that's so, because what it's saying is the companies are honest. We are honest to our investors. So this is why we do it. And it is on Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, all loans, appraisers, title companies, employees of the mortgage company, real estate agents, etc. Another one you'll see is the LDP or GSA, General Mortgage Insurance Eligibility. I wonder if I gotten some of this. I need to go back and do some of this. But just to let you know, we have to do these. We have to verify everybody involved in this loan app, right, has passed. There is no criminal activity behind them. Okay? That's very important. And you'll see that. And you'll see that in the course too. Let's see what else I'd like to go. Oh, tips. Very important. And you'll hear this a lot, ladies. If you did not document it, it did not happen. And I'm sure you hear this a lot in the legal field or law enforcement. You always document, when did you last speak to that borrower? What did you ask them? What was their response? You do want to make a note of it in the file, because you never know if there's a chance, like if it goes to foreclosure, if it goes to legal, or let's say the realtor calls you up screaming mad. Well, you didn't tell my borrower this. Well, you can look at your notes and say, well, yes, I did. So at least you're covered, CYA. So if you did not document it, make sure you did. Read daily mortgage news, like I said earlier. Read every day. You'll be getting, while you're working, not every day, but you'll be seeing updated guidelines. Continue education. That could be anything. Again, maybe your notary, maybe your tax preparer, maybe taking additional courses, because you like processing, but now you want to be an underwriter because you really want to make those bigger bucks, right? Take extra courses to beef up, your professional development. Another one, like I said earlier, promote yourself and your company. Beware of conflict of interest. And this is so important, ladies. I know a lot of us have had to work 2 jobs. Even in the military, we've had to work 2 jobs. Conflict of interest. Perfect example. Prime America. Have you ever heard of Prime America before? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If you ever, so let's say you're in the mortgage industry, you're working, you have, of course, access to all these borrowers' information. If Prime America rep in your area finds out what you're doing, more than likely they're going to try to get you to come aboard part-time and sell for them. However, they want you to go into the database where you're working at and pull out customer information to contact customers. You can't do that. So you got to be careful when we're talking about conflict of interest. All right, it's so important. Like again, I cannot be a mortgage underwriter and be a realtor at the same time because I'm taking business away from my company. So just keep that in mind. But being a tax preparer, H&R Block, that's not a conflict of interest. Being a notary, that's not a conflict of interest because you're not competing against the mortgage company. Lawyers love mortgage professionals because we're really detailed. We know how to document. And a lot of times, this is how I became an expert witness at one time for Saline County Circuit Court, because a lot of times you ever hear your friends or family members are going through a divorce, there always seems to be that family home in question, and it's going to court, who's going to get this house or equity. They love that. Mortgage fraud is investigated by the FBI. It's taken very, very seriously. We do not tolerate it, neither does the FBI, and people they can be charged and prosecuted. 3-day docs, meaning you as a consumer, you went to a loan, to an office to get a mortgage loan, and they do a loan application, right? You will sign all that, plus all the disclosures. You have 3 days from the day that you sign the documents, that the rest of the documents have to be signed. So you hear 3-day docs a lot. You'll hear that, okay? So what you sign up front, you're going to sign again at the end of the loan. We can go over cycles of the loan just to give some clarification there. So here's the cycle. One is taking a loan application. The loan originator who has been trained will tell you what documents are needed. They will look at your income sources. Are you W-2, which is, regular employee? Are you military? Are you commission, self-employed, sales? So now you're going to need your W-2s, most recent W-2s, and most recent pay stubs. If you're Social Security, you want your ward letter. If you have VA disability, your ward letter. So those are your income documentations that's going to be needed. Next is assets. Where is your checking savings account, your 401k? Again, you'll have to get those documents, recent documents, full and all pages of the bank statements, 401, investment, savings, okay? Because they got to see, and we're going to be looking for several things here. Large deposits. Where did this $10,000 come from when they only averaged $3,000 a month balance? Where's that $10,000 coming from? We need to know that source of funds. Now, if it's a tax refund, it usually says IRS tax refund. We know where that's coming from. We're fine. But we want to see, have you been saving your money to buy a home? Were you capable of doing that? Or are we using gift funds? If you're using gift funds, great, then we can do that too. So that's another set of documents. If you're self-employed, you'll hear this. If you own a business, corporation, 25% or more, you're considered self-employed. Therefore, you will need your 1120s, your 1120Ss. Those are your business tax returns. You can be self-employed, but not being incorporated. Let's say landscaper. Tangi's husband is a landscaper. However, it's his own business. He does a lot of cash business, whatever, but he files a Schedule C. He just did not incorporate himself because he doesn't want to grow that big. He's only doing for himself. Again, that would be 100% employed if we're going to use that income. Okay. Another thing too, you have to have at least 2-year history, tax history of using self-employed income. The reason is because most companies will fail within the first 2 years. So we want to make sure they're stable and income is coming in. And a lot of times we're going to do an average. Okay. Because of COVID, things have kind of switched up a little bit. Documents are not, instead of being 90 days, 120 days, they're now maybe only 60 days. We've got to keep updating our documents. And the reason is because with the COVID going on, there's so much uncertainties of our positions. One day we could be working, the next day we could be laid off, right? Reducing hours, I've seen a lot of that. I have seen a reduce in pay. So, so the environment has somewhat changed. So it's very important. Do we have some questions right now before we go on a short break? Because I figure maybe about 1 more hour after this, we might be good for the day. You want to go take a break? Okay, how about 105, 106, something like that? Or 206 to come back?
Let's do 105 or 106. That's like a 10-minute break.
Okay, I can use it. Okay, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all ladies okay? Hanging in there? Learning something new?
Definitely.
Don't start, y'all. Don't start with me. Yeah, listen to some music. Glad you ladies are enjoying yourself. I'm learning something. So, and if it's something that you want to keep doing, again, we can definitely keep going with it. I mean, more classes and actually with Women Elevated, paying for the advanced classes if it's something that you want to do. So.
I was looking it up now. Oh, what was that? I was looking at links online right now. Do you know, are they specific to states? Do you know?
sitting in the morning sun. I'll be sitting the evening come, watching the ships roll in. Then I watch them roll away again. Yeah. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll in. Sitting on the dock of the bay, I left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I had nothing to live for. Look like nothing's gonna come my way. So I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll in. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what many people tell me to do. So I guess I'll remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones. And this loneliness won't leave me alone. This 2,000 miles I roam, just to make this drop my home. Now
Hello.
just a bit at the top of the bay, watching
How's
the
it going so far?
tide roll in. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
If you're ready, Miss Teresa.
No, I was just
So
saying, how is it going?
I think it's going okay.
Is there anything? I mean, there's a few more things I do want to touch on. We may not have to do this tomorrow.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to ask them though, before, I still want to do that quiz, of course, but, is, is to, look at the courses because they do have demos. Okay. So they don't have to do a login or anything like that. They can actually just go out there and look and see what I'm talking about and how easy it is. Okay. It's not, because once you take the one course, you take the next one, it starts blending in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it will, it overlaps, but it's a good overlap. It's not going to bore you or be redundant. It's just, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now I see where I apply this. Okay. Okay. Tangi? Oh, okay.
We're ready.
Oh, okay. So, anyway, so as what did I stop at? I can't quite. Sorry, what did I stop at? Um, so what I would like you ladies to do, and maybe Tansy can do this, if you don't mind emailing them the PowerPoint, just the PowerPoint presentation, because it has the links on that.
Yes, I can
Because,
do that.
okay, great. Because there's a couple things that they can do. Number one, they can look at the links for Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, right? USDA, um, FHA. Also, too, the on course. Now, you don't have to do a login, you don't have to sign up, but you can look at it. Go under the mortgage or the MLO. It's the same thing, mortgage loan originating. And just, they have demos. So that kind of gives you an idea of the coursework involved. Okay. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be required, but if you want that leg up to get into the industry, because this is a great industry. Remote. Okay. Every company I've worked for, remote, I am given all my equipment. The only requirement that I've had to have was internet. And I do a secure internet, meaning I use the cable. I don't do the wireless. I do a secure, only because I want to keep my information from work separate and secure. Okay. You are responsible for that equipment. So you do want to take care of it. And also too, because it is in the office and this room has been used for, having guests here, or my son who had several parties being a college student at University of North Florida. I always lock everything down. I mean, I hide my notebook with passwords, any customer information, anything like that. My laptop, I power off everything. I unplug. Not saying I don't trust who's in my home, but you just never know, right? So I am very secure. And then sometimes, depending if it's just a night party, I will actually close that door, duct tape it, and we will put big signs on there, do not enter, or if you enter at your own risk, okay? Because I take it that serious. I do. Also, too, I don't let it be known throughout the neighborhood, or let's say I have landscapers here or bug guy or some. Oh, I've got my work equipment here. I don't want that. What if they talk to somebody, and try to break in my home? Anything. I'm just like that. Okay. It's just like we don't talk about having a loaded weapon in our home, or we have guns in our. It's the same thing.
Right.
Or we keep jewelry in the house. So I kind of protect all that. Actually, the 3 pieces I own, I wear it. So, but other than that, no, I am very protective of my information. Also, too, I've had incidents where, where I'm working at a mortgage company. I'll have somebody, oh, wait a minute, can you do me a favor? Look at my girlfriend's loan information. No. If you're not on that loan, no. I don't, no, never.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if we're best friends, you're, blood related, whatever. No, I do not. Never. So keep that all in mind. Certain hours doing these jobs, okay, in the industry, there is going to be a requirement for, perhaps if you're a loan processor, they probably do want you available during certain hours, like 8 to 5 or, 7 to 4, depending on, because even though I work remote, but we have employees from California all the way up through New York. So, you want to be available for those, depending on the times. Okay. Customer service is probably another one where they want you for certain hours. Now, if you're an underwriter, usually you make up your own hours. QC, you make up your own hours, all that. I do want to go over. So third-party vendors, remember, those are appraisers. Those are our title companies. Those are, they're not direct employees of the company, but they're outside. And the reason why we have what they call fee appraisers is because we want a complete independent opinion of the value of that property. We don't want it to be, you know, we have this great appraiser and, you know, oh, if you do this, you know, raise the value of it. You don't want, no, that's good. No. That's why we do outside. But these appraisers, they all have to go through a series to be approved. Not only do they have to be licensed, they have to be insured, they have to be certified. Also, too, they also have to be approved by the lender. Okay. Again, honesty is huge because we are selling these to our investors. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. This is how mortgage companies, the secondary marketing makes the money. And again, we don't want any buybacks. And again, we want to be, you know, we're honest. We're going to be honest because we're playing with people's lives too, right? You think about it. So I kind of want to touch back about what's the difference between an appraisal and a home inspection. Appraisals are required. Okay. Appraisals, or now we're using, depending on the loan and the criteria, we can use a property, a waiver. Okay. But an appraisal, that is where we send an appraiser out there, again, certified, licensed, approved, and they will look at your home, but they will also see what's going on in the neighborhood, recent sales, comparable houses. So like if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, the house next door could have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. That's pretty much comparable. The size of the lot, condition of the home. And then you have to have so many comparables, comps, as we call them, another term, within that area, what has sold recently, which will determine the current value of this home. All right. Now, if the appraiser happens to see, oh, wait a minute, there's some damage on the roof, they need to get that fixed, or little things like that, they'll note it. And that will be, instead of as is, the value is as is, it could be subject to, meaning they have the seller or the borrower has to fix those items, have it inspected that it is correct before we can move on to the loan. That's the appraisal. Some people get this confused. Home inspection's different. It's not a requirement. And Tangi, I think you'll appreciate how I'm going to talk about this one. A home inspection, I believe in these. A home inspection, you think about it, it's like buying a used car or buying a home, whether it's a new home under construction or a 100-year-old home. You want an independent person that's certified, experienced to come in and do a deep inspection of that home. Is the roof still good? Is there any flooring that's going under? What about the electrical system? Plumbing, huge. Any leakage? With a home inspector, yeah, they can run probably about $500, but they come in, they do like a 32 or 36 point inspection of your home. They get in the rafters, they get under the foundation if it's a crawl space. They'll look at the plans, they'll look at the electrical system, and they're going to tell you if there's any items that needs to be cured, another term, meaning do they need to be fixed? Or are you satisfied that you're confident you're buying this home and it's in the condition and you're not buying a money pit? If we ever seen that movie, The Money Pit, right? And then one thing you don't want to do is close on a home that you've invested all your hard-earned money and savings, and 6 months later to find out that the plumbing was really messed up. Now you got to go try to find $15,000 to fix your plumbing. At least you know what you're buying up front. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you will get a disclosure. And again, that is optional. I personally, every time I buy a home, I get a home inspection done. or unless if they have one there ready, I'll look at that. But again, it's not required. So there's your difference, okay? Flood certs. Flood certs are required on every single property. We want to make sure that that property, whether it's in a flood zone or not, that's okay. We just got to make sure if it's in a flood zone, is there flood insurance available? Okay, let's look at I'm trying Katrina. Was it Katrina that was really bad in
Yes.
Louisiana? That's the
Yes.
one that basically wiped out, right?
Mhm.
Basically wiped out. Okay. If you're in a flood zone, and think about it, you've got the investor, and we want to make sure you have adequate coverage in case there's a flood, and you have the flood insurance that you can go to the insurance company and you can get that home rebuilt. So the investor is safe. Okay. Now, land itself can never be destroyed. So you're only going to insure like your homeowner's insurance and your flood on the house itself, the building itself, not the land. Okay. Because land's always going to be there. So your land could be worth, let's say 60,000 a lot. The house is worth to rebuild is 200,000. So you're only going to get insurance based on 200,000, not 260, because again, land doesn't get destroyed. I've only seen this a few times with properties in Hawaii. They have what they call a lava report. And it just means, depending on what island you're at and how close you live to a volcano that is active or live. Okay. And that's kind of like how many zones are they back? You know, what is the risk if it explodes and here comes the lava? How far is it going to go inland? I've only seen that a few times, but I have seen it. That's interesting. So homeowners insurance is always important. Get a tax certificate. We need to know what the taxes are on that property, depending on what state or county. It's either paid annually or it's paid quarterly or semi. Another thing too is the big word too here is impound/escrow. Again, depending on what part of the country you're in. That means PI, which is your principal and interest. That is your loan broken down, how much interest and principal you pay in each month, and it's amortized over the life of the loan, whether it's 15 years, 20, or 30 years. That's P&I. Then you hear PITI, which is your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. VA, FHA, loans, values over 80% is going to require impounds. So what we're going to do, just to secure the loan with the investor, we are going to add on top of their principal and interest payment per month 1/12 of the taxes and insurance. So what they're going to do is they're going to take your taxes for the year, divide that by 12. They're going to take your homeowner's insurance, divide that by 12. Same thing if you're required to have flood, same thing, divided by 12. And they're going to add that on top of your principal and interest. So the servicing department, where we come in, the tax department, the insurance company will cut a check directly to the insurance company and to the county or the state taxes. So you'll see impounds a lot. Remember, anything over 80%, and FHA, VA always required. Funding fees, very important with VA. Depending on your status and the level or the percentage of your disability, you may be exempt. But you do have a funding fee with VA. It's one time they roll it on top of your loan. And again, that's VA's kind of insurance. It doesn't benefit you, it benefits VA. So if you go into default, into foreclosure, it's like an insurance for VA that they can go ahead and pay that loan off. All right. Um, so that's, you're going to see like MIP, mortgage insurance premium, or PMI, private mortgage insurance. Again, those do not benefit the borrower, they benefit the lender. Again, those are insurance, monthly insurance, because your loan to value is high. And if you ever hear this, the more money you put down, the less of a risk you are. It's like buying a car, right? The car's $20,000, you put $10,000 down. The chances of you getting a better loan at that point is a lot better than buying, financing the whole 100%. Same thing with the home. The more you put down, the less of a risk, because we know, just with anybody, the more money you put down on a home, the less likely, if you come up with any kind of financial situation, you're going to keep that home because you've invested so much cash, versus someone that bought their home 100, zero money down, 1%, whatever. And then a year later, whatever happens to, whatever, they get tired of the home, they walk away. Well, they didn't lose anything on as far as they're concerned, because they didn't really put that much money into it. So same concept. Again, does that make sense? You're going to hear that a lot. Does that make sense? Let's see. Does everybody heard of a certificate of eligibility?
Yes.
Okay. Mortgage companies now can do that for you. Let's go back to tax returns. Very important, especially because a lot of lenders and investors right now are requiring, if you're self-employed or 25% more ownership in a corporation, tax returns must be provided. And usually they want at least the last 2. Now, to verify the tax returns they provided, we actually go to the IRS and we will pull up transcripts from the IRS, because we're going to compare their tax returns to the IRS transcripts, meaning this is actually what Mr. Smith and Mr. Smith have filed their taxes, and it's 100% accurate and correct with the IRS. So you're going to sit and compare. Very important. Trust me, I've seen it. People will submit tax returns, misrepresentation. We get the transcripts. That's not true. So very important. So you see that a lot. And that's why I suggest, ladies, doing all this, if you get a chance to, I know it can be a lot, but again, if you want to get into, hey, I'm going to take some additional tax courses, there you go. And also, too, the lenders are really good. We always have to recertify ourselves with the newest regulations and guidelines, all that. So it's just like I just finished one the other day myself, because they want to keep you up to date on the new guidelines and new regulations. Everything's changing. Okay. It used to be manually, before what we call the automated underwriting system. We were real firm on our front end, back end. You're going to hear me say that with the DTI. Front end. Front end is your debt, like what's showing up on your credit report, which will be auto loans, credit cards, any kind of installment. That's your front end. Your back end is going to be your monthly debt, along with the housing expense, your total housing expense. Front, back end, DTI. Okay. Used to be like 28%, no more, 28% of your income, over no more than maybe 36% back end. But because of the automated systems now for underwriting, I've seen them as high over 50%, because the system is doing it for us, and it's great, and it saves time. And so how it kind of works with all this DU, LP, automated systems, is as the cycle of the loan. You got the LO, loan assistant, loan processor. As you're gathering the documentation, you're putting it into the system, mainly probably Encompass, right? Checking it off. You have all your information. You've done your income calculations. You verified the assets, and you're putting it in the system. Once that's done, click. You run it through. The findings is what we call it. Comes back, and it will tell you, okay, great. They need this much required funds in order to close. Self-employed, please review this, get these documents. From there, it goes to the underwriter. The underwriter is going to verify this is all good. And then let's say the underwriter's like, well, I'm going to make some conditions. The conditions are meaning additional documentation in order to get this loan, either one, final approval, clear to close, funding, closing, etc. Then it goes back to the processor. If needed, the processor then will either let the LO know or the customer know, hey, Mr. Smith, we still need that other pay stub, most recent pay stub. Can you get that to us? A lot of people, you have to have, usually they want a 2-year employment history. Now, a 2-year employment history can also include being a full-time student. And if you can show your transcripts or a diploma, so let's say they just graduated six months ago, but they've been a student full-time, and they became a nurse, right? But they've only been a nurse for 6 months, but we can show 2-year employment history because they're a nurse for 6 months. The last 18 months they've been in school, so there's your 2-year history. Social Security, of course, if you're retired, just, your award letters. Social Security, pension from different, like railroads or federal jobs, state jobs, etc. Okay, so we don't need a 2-year history on them. Continuous income, minimum 3 years. Child support, alimony, that's when court documents that you get to read. Divorce decrees, child custody agreements. So what you're going to look at, let's say a woman is receiving $500 a month in child support. What you're going to look at is, okay, what is the age of the child? So now you're going to require that custody agreement, okay, with a court document from the judge saying you are receiving $500 a month. So it's kind of a twofold. You're going to look at the age of the document, and then it always lists the child's name and the age. Are they 10? Are they 16? Are they 17? Well, if they're 17, child support's only good until they're 18, then you know it's not going to last for 3 years. Therefore, you cannot use that child support. Same thing with alimony. I've seen alimony to life. I've seen alimony for a year. Again, does it have 3 years continuous? Okay. That's very important. So keep that in mind. 3 years. Same thing with royalties. If they've sold a book through, how much are they getting in royalties? Again, is it for 3 years? The ability to repay, that's a hot topic too. And the reason is when I was like I said, I've been in the industry, we started seeing this around 2008. We started seeing, and I think a lot of us probably remember 2008 being a pretty bad year for everybody, where everything just tanked. The whole banking, mortgage industry just went down. It had to do with because of a lot of home loans, subprime loans, were not really good loans, and people really couldn't afford to make their house payment. And they really didn't have the ability to pay. Yeah, it looked good on paper, but could they still, just because they look good on paper with their monthly debt and their house payment, but do they have enough what we call residual income left over? Meaning, can they still buy groceries, gas for their car insurance, education needs, clothing, utilities? Do they still have enough funds left over at the end of the month to make these payments? So that's where the ability to repay comes in. VA is really big on that too, residual income. Again, VA wants to make sure And again, we're protecting our service people, right? We don't want to see some of this E5 get into a property that's going to be way over their heads. They can't afford it. We want to make sure that service member and their family still has enough funds left over to still buy the groceries that are needed for the family and entertainment, and home ownership also has a deep psychological meaning to us. Because how many times we've heard our grandmother or mother, home sweet home, right? Home is where the heart is, right? Everybody loves that home ownership because this is where we're raising our family, we're getting our memories, we're very comfortable in our surroundings, right? Here's some other terms that you're going to probably hear. Redlining. Has anybody ever heard of redlining before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had an experience when I went to go work for a mortgage company back in Arkansas. It was a mess. This one particular big bank is no longer there. They did a lot of things. They were doing redlining. They were actually denying loans based on minority, color, single mothers, right? It was pretty bad. Well, I happened to walk in because HUD already just got in there and HUD said, oh, you got 1 year to clean up your act. We're going to watch you very carefully. No more redlining, no more discrimination, no more da da da. I happened to walk in. Next thing I know, I'm on this team, minority team, because I'm from San Diego. I'm Catholic, right? I don't have any family members there. I'm not tied to anybody. Well, I was just the perfect poster child to get out there, right? Redlining. Oh, hate some of this. That's where the lender or the bank, and you've heard this probably years ago, they purposely will not go out to a part of town or a neighborhood because they think it's too much crime, maybe too many minorities, maybe too many low income people. They don't want to go out there. They don't want it. Have you ever heard CRA, Community Reinvestment Act? Has anybody heard that? You see it when you walk into a branch, the signs. CRA? That's where that all comes about. Redlining is highly illegal. I have not seen it lately in the last few years. I have not seen redlining, but that's a term. You cannot ever, ever deny a loan based on orientation, marital status, health, disability, how you look, religion, any of that at all. I did see that years ago, but I haven't been seeing it. No. In fact, lenders, even though you have a disclosure like a HUMDA, which, your male, female, race, etc. A lot of people say, I do not want to. They don't have to. But I kind of go, well, you're kind of doing a disservice to your own community. And the reason is because this is how the investors, they want to see what the demographics are in your area because they're going to come up with additional loan programs in the future to help that community. Okay, so that's, but that's up to the borrower. Do they want to disclose if they're Caucasian, if they're Hispanic? That's up. If they're Asian, they may not. They don't have to, but we would like to see it. But again, it's not a requirement. Title insurance is very important. What title does several things. One is they go and they look at the land itself to make sure there is no other liens, whether it's federal, taxes, state, any other mechanical liens, like maybe a construction company, maybe you had a roofing company come in. They want clear title, meaning the property is clear to where the lender can come in, put their lien on the property for the borrower, and there you go. So I've only had one incident when I was buying my own house. They forgot to clean up the title, and I saw there was like some federal tax liens on there. I was like, whoa, why am I taking over, tax liens? I'm not getting this house. I want it clear to close. And the title officer looked down. She goes, oh, good point. The house that I bought, both borrowers or homeowners had actually passed away. And yes, they owed taxes to the federal government, but IRS never went after them. Well, that's on them. But I'm the new buyer on this property. So title went back in, cleared it. I'm not responsible for the taxes, right? That's so the property is mine. And then they share it. So again, that's very important for that purposes. So you'll always have a title company involved. Also, too, that sometimes they'll send out a survey to get a survey of the lot. That's very important because what if you want to put a fence up? You want to talk to your neighbor, again, your lot line, especially during disaster loans. I've done a lot of those, hurricanes and tornadoes. We want to get these people out of a hotel. We want to get them out of a camper or wherever they're at, staying with family. So if they lost their home through Katrina or horrific days that we had back in, I think, 97 in Arkansas, where, a lot of it was wiped out because of the tornadoes, we're going to work really hard to get that family back into a home. Disaster loans. Okay. So you'll hear that. So another thing most lenders will do, they do what they call an audit on 3 loans a month. As a processor, as an underwriter, even me, I get audited 3 times a month. They will randomly pick out 3 loans that have closed that you've done, send it to an auditor, and they just want to make sure you're doing your job and you're doing it well. Okay. And they usually want to see have a score of usually 95 or up, 95% or up. You get 3. And that helps your quality performance also for raises and advancement. Okay. So don't be surprised. 3 loans a month is usually going to be picked. Okay. And that's again with me. And then you can dispute it. If they come back with a finding, let's say, well, you forgot this item, or you should have gotten this, you can come back and say, wait a minute, guidelines didn't need that, or the findings didn't warrant that particular item. But again, that is, again, part of the industry because everybody we're all checking each other. It's not that they're the police. We just want to make sure our loans are sold to the investor and they're going to keep those loans and they're not going to come back on us. That what we call buyback or post-purchase. We don't want that. We want the loans to stay where they're at. And we're doing a great job because we want that money. We want that promotion. We want those bonuses, right? That's what we want. Down payment assistance. That is a great thing right now, especially for lower income families. Let's say somebody just out of college, just starting their professional, they haven't had time or really to save those funds. Now we have a down payment assistance up to $15,000. So that's a great program too. And of course, the loan officers are going to be promoting that. But you'll be learning to do that too. That's becoming a real popular thing. It's like bond loans. They used to have bond loans. I haven't seen those lately, but it's kind of the same concept. You hear this a lot too, I'm sure, FSBO or for sale by owner. Instead of getting agents, they'll do a for sale by owner, meaning the seller decides not to pay somebody to try to sell their home and list it. They'll just sell it themselves. You're going to see quite a more of that right now because it's not taking much right now to sell your home, right? And in fact, you can have multiple bidding wars. The house is selling for 200. You go in there, you make your offer at 200. Next thing you know, somebody came in at 210, 220, 250. That's a bidding war. So there's a lot of compliance out there, and there's reasons why, because we want to make sure, number one, not only is the consumer informed, they're not being deceived. We are not out there to do bad loans. We're not out there to deceive. Again, mortgage industry, we are honest. Also, too, we are not going to risk our company for some kind of a lawsuit later on. right? So not only does the employees need to be up on all these compliance and regulations, so is the lender. And even if you work in title or, you know, anything that's related to real estate banking, you will still be taking these courses all through the year. And that's very important, again, because I don't want to be deceived. I don't want to go in and get a loan thinking I'm getting 5% interest. The next thing I know, 6 months later, it's at 10. And I'm being told, well, you signed the document. No, we're not doing that. So again, we have different types of loans. You have your purchase. That's where you're buying the home. Your cash out refi. That is popular too. Great. That is, let's say your house is, you owe 100,000, right? But now you want to do home improvements. You want to add a pool, maybe a room, pay off debt, something like that, pay college. So you go to the lender and you're like, well, I really could use $50,000. How can I get it? Great. Well, your house is for 200. So we're going to give you cash out. We're going to refinance your first. We're going to go from 100,000 to 150. Now you have $50,000 to do your home improvements or put the pool in, pay for college. That's a cash out refi. A no cash out refi is you're just doing a rate and term, basically. You're just refinancing your home for a lower interest rate, okay? But you're not getting cash back. You owe 100, you're basically getting that loan for 100 because you want that lower interest rate and lower your monthly payment. Streamline refis. VAs do this a lot. Those are super easy. We're not looking for an appraisal. We're not really looking for a credit report. Maybe we're just looking for a VOM, verification mortgage, right? How they've been making their payments the last 12 months. Streamline is because VA already has that loan. Keep in mind, they've already guaranteed that loan. The borrower just wants to get a lower interest rate, so VA has cut it out, the streamlining with all the additional documentation. And again, they're just getting a lower interest rate because, again, remember, VA is already guaranteeing that loan. FHA has it. They also have other programs. If you ever see HARP, has anybody seen those ads saying HARP, HARP? That's another kind of a streamlined refinance. You'll see a lot of sales contracts. Each state's different. You'll see addendums. You'll see counteroffers. Sometimes these sales contracts are long, like 50 pages, depending on where they're at, how many addendums, how many times they went back to counteroffer. You'll see that. Again, different states, you'll get used to that. Same thing with court documents. Again, divorce decrees, custody arrangements, or garnish, anything like that, okay? Another thing too, that you want to do very carefully is when you see pay stubs, okay, look to see if there's any garnishments. Garnishments could be, you know, they had a collection agency after them, maybe they owe back child support. So again, you want to look at that too. You may have to include that garnishment inside their DTI, their debt to income. Very important. With a condo townhome, if they belong to a homeowner association, and if they're paying a homeowners association, we got to make sure that that condo townhome, the homeowners association is stable and can afford the property maintenance, like the roofs, the outside of the buildings themselves. And we will have to do what we call condo approval or HOA approval, because again, we want to make sure we're placing that borrower in the best possible way to be successful as far as home ownership. Okay. Any questions? Any comments?
No, that's a lot of, I think you gave us a lot of information to process.
I did.
So you did. You gave us a lot of
now,
info.
I will be Just to let you ladies know. And Tangi, I think I've touched base with you before. I can be an admin for any online classes you take. So
Okay.
I will be there as to monitor, to
Right.
track, and to report.
Okay.
But it doesn't, because you can get somebody yourself, but if they're not in the industry, they, you know,
Right.
right? Plus, I've already taken some of those courses, so I could do that too. Also, too, very important. I am here for support, ladies. Okay, so if you decide to get involved in doing this, and this is why we're here, right? I am here. I'm home a lot. I work remote. If I don't get to your call right away, I'll get to it, within that day. Okay. Um, and I know how to, oh, and you have to make sure you know how to multitask because this job's very multitask. So I can multitask. Um, but yeah, give me a call, email me. I'm on Facebook a lot. You can always IM me. There's plenty of ways to get a hold of me, but I will be here to answer any questions because this is my belief. It's up to me to get you up and running. The more information I can give you, the more I can educate you on a step, meaning you're going to be more valuable to that underwriter, to your manager, to that company. So you don't have to hear, well, I didn't know, I didn't know. See, so I'm very much hands on. So I'm here for support. Interviewing tips, real quick. Mortgage industry, banking industry, there's still, if you work in retail, it's a little bit different, okay? But mortgage, banking, you still have, that persona, right? So you're going for an interview. I strongly suggest you wear a solid color suit. And Tangi, I'm sure you have an organization that helps you out with that. You want to wear
Yeah.
a suit. You want to
Hmm.
make sure your hair, your makeup. I strongly suggest if you have any kind of a tattoos, I would not try to show them the day of. Okay. Not saying you can't have any, but again, we're talking a different breed of mortgage and banking. Their persona is different than a retail. Retail wants to see you in trendy clothes. They want to see you, with the trendy hair colors and all that. But when you just want to be really conservative and you want to be serious. A suit, dark suit, blue, navy blue, black, gray, a blouse. Um, it's just everything professional makeup. They like that. So, and you can always get with Tansy if you get that interview, even if it's on Zoom. A lot of my interviews were on Zoom during the COVID. Still, I threw a jacket on, make sure, my hair, everything was on there. Uh, Interviewing skills. Tangi, I'm sure you can help, or I can help with that too.
We can definitely help
Keywords.
with that.
Huh?
I said, yes, ma'am. We can definitely help with that.
And I will definitely help you with the keywords when it comes to the resume, when they want to update the resume. And everybody, I'm sure in today's world, when HR gets those resumes, right, they throw it into their system and it points out the keywords. So we want to make sure we have keywords there so they can look at your resume and pass it over to the hiring manager or to the recruiter to call you. And I don't know if this is still true. I've kind of been out of it for a little while. Is the resume still good for about 30 seconds when it gets to HR? That's what I've heard. About 30 seconds. Have you heard that, Tangi?
Mm-mm. I've never
Oh,
heard that.
okay. I've heard, yeah, I
But
hear,
I don't have a job either. So
huh?
I said, but I don't have a job either. I, I haven't worked since I retired. So
Look at
I'm not a
you.
subject matter expert on that. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, and one important thing I want to say, this is why I love the mortgage industry so much. Age discrimination. How many times have we heard that one, right? Oh, she
Yes.
got the job because she's younger than me. Not the mortgage industry. They love us older people for several reasons. Number one, we tend to be more stable. Okay, meaning we've already raised our kids or, we're grandparents, we've pretty much gotten out of that craziness, as we're, marriages, etc. Right? Also, too, I have 25, 30 years experience. I'm in demand everywhere right now. But I'm in a company I love. I'm going to be here forever. Okay. I don't care. At this, my moment of time, I am fine. I love my company. Having a chance to have unlimited vacation start next year, that to me is worth, anything. Another thing too that I love, because of the medical benefits, I did not have to switch networks when I went from one company to this company. Right. That was another, to me, a bonus. So it doesn't have to always be cash in your hand, but what's the other advantages working for this company over this company, right? Now, once you decide to do this and you're going to go forward and you've taken your courses and you've spoken to Tangi and you got your suit ready, now you're ready to do the resumes, right? I will be here too to help you. Which companies do, have I ever heard of this company? Let's research. You want to research the companies that you're looking into apply for. Okay. How many employees do they have? Where are they located? Are they national? Or are they only a couple states or one state? What are their benefits? All that, it all takes into play too. This is what I thought of too the other day. For me, I don't go contract. I do not go temp to hire. I've already been in the business. I need the benefits. I need this and this and that. Now, you ladies, since you're just going to break into this, environment, if you see a temp job like 6 months to 9 months, and if you want to go for it, I say go for it. In your position, yeah, absolutely. Because if you can get in as a temp to hire, right, it may not have any benefits. The pay is still going to be pretty good, but you get your foot in the door, you're already getting hands-on experience to add to your resume. So that's a good thought right there. It's okay. If you want to do temp to hire, I think it's great. Maybe some of you ladies already have medical insurance, so that's not going to be an issue anyways. You get to stay at home. And again, and when you do your interviews, let's say, especially for remote, and they're doing a Zoom, couple things though. Make sure kids are out of the house, husband's out of the house, dogs are out of the house, the door's locked or closed, TVs are off. Make your office presentable, meaning if you have a closet for your clothes, close the doors. Just make sure it's all presentable. You're presentable. I had one recruiter tell me he had an interview with somebody, or the hiring manager did, and this one particular underwriter was drinking a beer and smoking cigarettes. That did not go over too well. They've had another one with like tank tops or bathing suit tops. So again, even though you're not face to face at the site, they still can see you on camera. So this job is a lot of fun. I'm telling you. You see the other half, funny stories all the time. It just brings, I don't know, to me, it's just joy. And another big joy is when that buyer finally gets in their home. Oh, it's home ownership. Yeah, I've had a part of it. One thing they are really strict about, and they've stopped this in the last few years, and I think this will be about it, is getting gifts. Okay. Years ago, I used to get a lot of gifts. Appraisers, realtors, borrowers, buyers, I have gotten, cookies. I've gotten turkeys. I've gotten gift cards, gift certificates. I've gotten just lots of stuff, right? They've cut that pretty much out now. And I have not been offered a gift, and I couldn't tell you how long. And the whole industry pretty much knows, the realtors know, because let's say you're the one brought in a buyer for them. And it used to be customary that the realtor would come and give you a gift for referring them. You don't do that anymore. So that's been and it might be industry wide too out there too, with other maybe retail or something. So no, we don't really accept gifts anymore, which is always a good practice, because again, we're honest, and we don't want it to come thinking like, well, I get a $100 gift card every time I give them a new buyer. That means I'm going to be discriminative if you look at it, and I'm going to give this certain realtor these buyers so I can financially gain the $100. So if that makes any sense to y'all.
It makes sense.
Okay. So I know that was a lot. Like I said, uh, if you want to talk to me one-on-one tomorrow, if you have questions, think about it. Look at my PowerPoint. Tansy, what do you want to do about the quiz? Do you want to, if they decide to do this, just go ahead and give it to them and then give it back to me?
Yes, let's do it that way, and then we can kind of decide. We can kind of decide then, like who wants to go further and take the paid courses. For
Yeah.
our because we don't want to pay for courses for people that aren't really interested in them. So,
And and another thing too, I wouldn't mind having a little essay from the ladies that decide to do this. Number one, what did they get out of the course? Did they learn anything? Do they think it's going to be a fun industry? And two, why do they want to go in it? They want to elevate their careers, go into a new career, more stability, etc. Just like a couple sentences. That would be okay too. Because and again, and what I love about the mortgage industry is I don't have a 4-year degree. I don't have it. I'm not that
yeah,
good in college.
and a lot of rich women, they do have degrees, but then there are some that don't have degrees. So this is a good way to make money, especially when you're getting out the military and you're used to making a decent amount of money without a degree, and then you get out and you realize you can't make that same amount of money. Like, what can you do to make that same amount of money without a degree?
Right. Or either do you have 4 years right now to spend to go to college, but still you have to support your children and you still have that mortgage or a car payment.
Right.
And then two, are you really, and I saw my father do it, but then my mom, had us 7 kids and she raised the house. Okay. Can you work full time, still be a mom, still be that wife, still go to college, still do your studying, and still do the laundry on the weekends? I mean, seriously, right? And then that's what I'm saying. So with the end, and this is why it's such a great opportunity, is you get out there, and as long as you put your mind to it and you can do this, I have seen what I make compared to other professions, and they have like masters. Okay. So, but again, I know what I'm doing and I'm good at it and I love it. So you got to have all those factors in it too. Another thing too, you could be disabled. We've had people I've seen, they've been in wheelchairs, walkers, hearing, things like that, right? As long as they know the mortgage industry, they're doing their job. We don't care. That's another plus, right? Because you're not on your feet 40 hours a week. You're not lifting anything heavy. You're sitting at your desk. So you can be disabled. So again, there's just so many other wonderful advantages being in the mortgage industry. Age, love it. If you're bilingual, it's another plus. Anything like that, special gifts, special talents. So again, and I love this industry. There's days where I just want to walk away from it, but I think that's anywhere in life. There's days I want to walk away from Jacksonville, Florida. Why? I don't know. I just do. But that's what I'm trying to get into. But yeah, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do with your career and mortgage. Okay. And again, if you're going into title, you're going into real estate, you're doing this and that, you still need to have this behind you. And again, I will be there. I will help you, mentor you, get you to your steps. Again, interviewing. I will definitely help you to just, if you're starting to look at jobs and companies and job descriptions, I will definitely. And just keep in mind too, even though the industry has kind of switched up some of the titles of positions, like credit analyst could be the same thing as underwriter. Loan specialist could be the same thing as a loan processor, senior, junior. So you'll see those different terms out there. Okay. And Tansy, is there anything else I can do for you, or?
Teresa,
ma'am.
I do
Thank
have a
you.
question
I'm
too.
sorry. Go on.
Yes,
Real quick. Does everyone start as a junior loan processor, or you do not have to technically start as a junior?
you don't have to start as a junior. Again, they've kind of switched up the titles. Some companies have juniors, some companies just have seniors, some companies just call it loan processors.
Okay, so probably
Uh,
just based on your level of expertise.
a senior, see, and again, a senior loan processor is usually at least 1 year experience if you see the
Okay.
senior. But if you're out there on, and I say Indeed, is even if you see a senior loan processor, that's maybe what they're just using the title for. And they may be doing it for more of confidence to the borrowers. She's a senior. Could be. So, and don't be discouraged if they say minimum 1 year or 2 year experience, because that's not necessarily happening today. Because again, there's such a demand. And again, this is why I'm presenting this workshop with these courses to give you an edge up. You know what I mean? To get your foot in the door. That's why I'm offering this with this could be happening. Okay. Just don't apply right now any jobs that are credit analysts or underwriting, even junior underwriting, because you still need to have that background experience. But keep in mind though, if you're an underwriter, a loan processor, you're going to know how to do credit, how to calculate, how to analyze, right? A good processor also knows how to underwrite. So once you become a processor for like 2-3 years, apply for underwriting, because again, you have that processing background and you already know how to analyze and to calculate. So there you go. Did I answer your question okay?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I've done I can tell you stories on top of stories, ladies. I have done loans to where I've had shootouts. I've been shot at. Seriously. And some of these, I have done, okay, here's a funny story. Well, funny, I don't know. I had a loan application and it listed this prison, a woman's prison. I knew of it. Well, I thought she was a prison guard. I thought she was a guard because she was there for like 6 years or so. Sent out the verification of employment to the prison. Came back. Never worked here. Oh, she was an inmate. She just got out. I was like, oh, again, but that's because of the way it was presented to me, right? But it's okay because we still use that 6 years that she was an inmate as her 2 year employment history. Because we did figure that she still had work, right? Within. And she got a job right out. She got her home. So we've had, that's what I'm saying. I've worked with so many different people. I've learned so many different things. I've worked with community leaders. For me, I've had a blast, and I want to keep having a blast. I've had a lot of fun. Anybody else? Do you have anything to say or suggest or? Is Tansy still here?
Yes, I believe she's still on the call.
Oh, okay. So can you, ladies, at least real quick, tell me what each of you are doing right now? Are you working? Are you in school?
I work in payroll. So I did like
And where?
employer taxes, payroll. I work
Oh,
for
okay. Well,
Paycheck.
oh, see, you would do well
So
when it comes to
HR,
paychecks then.
exactly. HR calculations. So I'm familiar with like the stubs and things like that, the banking part of it.
Absolutely, because I'll tell you why. This has happened when they misrepresent. You'll see, and it's happened. they'll take pay stubs, right? So you know how much of Social Security has to be taken out, federal, state,
Like
right?
the wage-based limits and the percentages, yes.
Okay. Then see, you would have a good eye then. So if you see some pay stubs as you're looking down and you see, wait a minute, this isn't right. Because I know. You see?
Right. Oh yeah, I could do all that.
See, so you already have a transferable skill. Do you see that?
Hey, good.
Yay. Oh, no, I love it. I love it. No, and you said you have HR, so you're going to know how to speak to customers too, right? Because you
Right, exactly. Because I work with our HR clients that basically have us do everything. So, yeah.
and you're going to be able to tell that customer, that borrower, oh, maybe we can't do this loan this time, but maybe we can do this and that, right? So you know how to
Oh yeah,
soften.
definitely. Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Yeah, the
And you know
customer
what?
service side of it as well as the HR side of it.
Good. And just to let you know too, in the past, this has happened to me too. I've had loans in processing, right, where a borrower has passed away.
Oh no, okay.
A wife has lost her. Oh yeah, I've had a few of those. I've
And
had a
now they
few of
no
those.
longer qualify, probably, huh?
That's
Oh.
true too. But what we do in that incident, and I did it with this one lady. She had 3 little girls because she had child support, right?
Right.
We worked her very, very good. So what we ended up doing for her is she had to take like 3 weeks. You know, she had to stop. Obviously, right? We kept that loan to the side for her. However, she came back. You know, it was so sad, so tragic.
Right.
But we got her into a different program with bond money, so that, you know, I mean, so we do. You know, it's up to them. We will work, but yeah, I've had borrowers actually, you know, pass away.
Oh, okay. Oh no, that's
I've had that, yeah. Let's see. But I've had fun. I mean, like I said, I have lots of stories. You know, I've worked with pastors, you know, ministers, community leaders in Little Rock. That was always fun. Um,
So are you from Little Rock?
no, no.
Oh,
Quick
you just
story
worked
here.
there for a while.
I am from San Diego, military
Oh,
family. My
okay.
dad,
Yeah, I'm from
military.
Southern Cali too then. I'm from San Bernardino.
Oh, you're a South Cal girl?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Hey,
I've been in Texas about 12 years though.
oh, I love Texas too.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Yep. So I was in the military, back and forth, all this and that. Then my ex-husband retired from San Diego, and he went to go work for the railroad because he had a transferable skill. He was an engineman in the Navy, so he worked for the railroad. But unbeknownst to me, he picked Little Rock, Arkansas. And I'm like, oh, well, we're going to be there for 2 years. So wow, what the heck? So I went there. Well, I ended up there for 10. And I have to tell you, if you're not you know, from like Mississippi, Arkansas, that area, I had no family. I'm Catholic. I'm not Baptist. That whole thing, I did not fit in. You know what I mean? I wasn't I'm really serious. I wasn't accepted. That's why when I went to go work for a bank, the largest bank at the time, they saw me. I was their target. They were like, I was perfect because they threw me out in the community because they were in trouble at one point for what they were doing. Yeah. See, I didn't realize. I just thought I was like, oh, I was just doing this job. I didn't think. Again, Southern California people are raised so much different than we really are. You know,
We are.
we are. And but yeah, I mean, I actually did. I done gang members because again, they can get home loans too as long as they qualify, right?
Right.
Can't discriminate. You know, I've
As
done
long
inmate.
as they have the funds.
As long as that's right. I have done, you know, low income, no income. You know, I've been certain neighborhoods. I've had appraisers that would not go into certain neighborhoods, and that's their choice because they're, you know,
Independent, right?
correct. They're independent. I didn't have a choice. I didn't know, but there was a couple times. I mean, I was literally dodging from my car in heels, in a suit, from my car running across the street. But I had to do
Wow.
it. And I did it. I used to bring my children. I would bring my son with me. Well, you know, and I would get so many compliments, you know, from the people. I used to go home with homemade food. You know, I used to be
Mhm.
asked to go to church, you know, just lots of fun things, right? Here's the fun. This is great too. My daughter was a teenager. She was actually, I want to say she was either at the Baptist school or the Catholic school I had her in. But anyways, Britney Spears was coming into town. This is when she was much younger, right? She was coming to town. So this radio DJ was hosting Give Me Your Best Shot, Baby, or something. So he was doing a contest in a certain area that morning. You get free tickets if you could be like a Britney Spears sing along, or, you know, dress like
Uh-huh.
her, and, you know.
So come in there and
So we
act like her and sing like her.
Right, right. And that's how they're giving your tickets, right? So Amber, let's stop, let's stop. So my daughter's like, okay. Well, I saw the DJ, I knew who he was. So I went right up to him. My daughter's like, oh, Mom, how do you know that DJ? Because he was very popular for the younger people and the teenagers at that time. Oh, yeah, that's okay. I just hum along. Went up, hey, we started talking. He hugged me, you know. Oh, what are you doing here? I said, oh, there's my daughter. She's a big fan of Britney Spears. Oh, yeah. Here's your 2 tickets. Yeah. And my daughter was like,
Wow.
ah.
Hey, y'all
But I
about
did.
to be on. Y'all about to call each other.
Huh?
Y'all about to call each other.
She was asking if you were
Yeah.
still on, so I was talking to her till you came back
I'm
on,
still
ma'am.
on. Y'all about to call each other. No,
I just wanted to. She has a transferable skill, by the way, a
I
good
know
one.
she does, and that's why I texted her and told her she needs to get on because she
Daryl,
does.
and I used to work at the credit union, so hey, 2
And you know,
transferable
credit
skills.
unions, 3 credit unions, tad a little bit different, but hey, that's still the same, right? No, that's
Still
great.
banking, right?
There
So,
you
are you
go.
doing another
And
class, or you're just going
I
to be
can.
available like if we have questions when we're getting ready to sign up to take classes and things like
Well,
that?
this was supposed to be a 2-day class, but I think we're
Everything
not
done.
gonna do
Yeah.
it
Okay.
tomorrow. Yeah, but we have another class in January. It's on the flyer.
But see,
Okay.
they've already taken my workshop, and like I'm free tomorrow. You know, during the day. You know, seriously. Um, I will be more than happy if you want to spend an hour with me, if you want to do FaceTime, if you want to go over some of the logins or look at some of the courses, or you and I can go out there. We can like this whole Encompass. Now we may want to follow up on that. And this is something I want to talk to you about real quick. After they finish the courses, then we got to go into the systems, right? That Encompass is like over like 3.5 hours. That's something that you may want to involve me in and do another shop just on the Encompass, okay? Because that's really important, because they're going to ask you, do you have experience in Encompass? And we want to make sure that we can put on their training, you know, have been trained in Encompass, okay?
Okay. Awesome.
But yeah, no, Tanika, if you want to go over this and you're excited, I'm excited for you, because again, you know, and I think a lot of these ladies are going to have transferable skills. Just number 1, you're a vet. Number 2, you know what an LES is. You know the breakdown of an LES. You know how to read military orders, whether it's Army, Navy, Coast Guard, right?
Correct.
You're going to know how to do that. And you know the difference between a reservist, retired, and active duty.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely. So that's definitely a transferable skill.
Okay, we're already ahead of the game.
All right. Well, you can always reach out to Tansy. And again, I'm on Facebook anyways, on my personal page. And she has my number.
Okay.
And you can get it from her. And just text me. And when you text me, just say, hey, this is so-and-so from Tansy's workshop.
Workshop today. Okay.
Yeah, women.
Right.
Did they know? Did they know I got approved? I'm gonna be.
Yes, and Teresa, I sent you a message on Messenger. When you get a chance, read it and then call me later But I sent you a message on Messenger as well.
Oh, I see it. Okay, it's coming up. Um, and do y'all come up with a nickname for me or a
Yes, we
persona?
do.
Oh, you do. Oh, this will be interesting.
Your bigs will.
Oh no, I'm
How
excited because I'm gonna.
exciting.
I just hope, like I said during the process, right? I really want to come out. It's at April, right? Is when I want to
Yeah.
come out.
Mhm.
So for
Yeah.
those who don't know, Teresa is going to be a member. Well, she applied for it. She got approved to be on the next line for Power Move 5 and Women Elevated. So we're excited, to have her, and we're gonna see.
I love working with the women veterans. I do. And I love doing what I'm doing now because, again, to me, that's something I can bring forward that's valuable, useful,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping it's not financial problems I'm having to do with any of that. It's like, am I going to have?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to. And I do have 2 immediate appointments coming up for that, finally. So,
Good.
we'll see. Yeah. Well, ladies, it's been such a pleasure. I've had fun. Again, I'm available all the time. If you want to, do one-on-one tomorrow, and I love FaceTime, to be honest with you. Okay.
Well, I don't have an
Because,
iPhone, but I can video chat other methods. So
oh, okay.
It may
Well,
be cloudy, but
can you not do that like FaceTime via
Sure. Yeah.
Facebook?
Facebook. Yeah, she can do that.
Facebook
Yeah, that's what
Messenger,
I'm
I
talking
think has
about.
this video chat too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, and that's how I talk to my granddaughter, and
Oh, okay.
that's it. Well, it's like nobody picks up the phone anymore to have a conversation. It's all IM, texting, or FaceTime, right?
Yep, that's
Mhm.
correct.
And I like FaceTime anyways because even though I'm away from my family in San Diego, at least I can see how my sister's getting her house built or how the kids look, or
Right.
or I can still scream at my daughter, get that other shirt on I told you to wear. All right. Well, I'll let y'all. It's 3:19 for some of you, 3:19 or 2:19, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
So y'all.
219 plus, and
So y'all.
it's for Farida and
319 for
you
Farida.
it is 319. So y'all on the east. She's in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
in Texas, and yeah.
well, y'all ladies, I have a date night. I hope you ladies do too.
well, have a
I'm
good
gonna
night and
take it.
thank you so much.
Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much, and we look forward to seeing you. And don't forget the messenger, and let me know what you think. But thank you
you.
again.
Okay, I'm going to get to it right now.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.